So how do we end up here? Could've sworn we said forever.
Hopelessly I keep on losing myself. With the flames getting higher, all of the problems that I couldn't help. Oh, I'm building a bonfire. Hopelessly I keep on losing myself. With the flames getting higher, all of the problems that I couldn't help. Oh, I'm building a bonfire.
Tear us apart and bury me all in my head alone. Calling your name but only feel the cold. I sense the change in energy. All of my fuse is blown. The fire burns inside. Building a bonfire. So how do we end up here? Could've sworn we said forever.
Hopelessly I keep on losing myself. With the flames getting higher, all of the problems that I couldn't help. Oh, I'm building a bonfire. Hopelessly I keep on losing myself. With the flames getting higher, all of the problems that I couldn't help. Oh, I'm building a bonfire.
Tear us apart and bury me all in my head alone. Calling your name but only feel the cold. I sense the change in energy. All of my fuse is blown. The fire burns inside. Building a bonfire. So how do we end up here? Could've sworn we said forever.
Hopelessly I keep on losing myself. With the flames getting higher, all of the problems that I couldn't help. Oh, I'm building a bonfire. Hopelessly I keep on losing myself. With the flames getting higher, all of the problems that I couldn't help. Oh, I'm building a bonfire.
Tear us apart and bury me all in my head alone. Calling your name but only feel the cold. I sense the change in energy. All of my fuse is blown. The fire burns inside. Building a bonfire. So how do we end up here? Could've sworn we said forever.
Hopelessly I keep on losing myself. With the flames getting higher, all of the problems that I couldn't help. I'm building a bonfire. Hopelessly I keep on losing myself, with the flames getting higher. All of the problems that I couldn't help. Oh, I'm building a bonfire.
Tear us apart and bury me all in my head alone, calling your name but only feel the cold. I sense the change in energy, all of my fuses blown. The fire burns inside, building a bonfire. So how do we end up here? Could've sworn we said forever.
Hopelessly I keep on losing myself, with the flames getting higher. All of the problems that I couldn't help. Oh, I'm building a bonfire. Hopelessly I keep on losing myself, with the flames getting higher. All of the problems that I couldn't help. Oh, I'm building a bonfire.
Tear us apart and bury me all in my head alone, calling your name but only feel the cold. I sense the change in energy, all of my fuses blown. The fire burns inside, building a bonfire.
Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen. I hope all of you are doing well, because we are back again with the day number 4 of the Plains presented by Lidoma Asia Invitational Season number 2. Remember, guys, the game is going to be free for max. My name is Raider. Along with me, it's Eagle on the desk, and we are going to witness today the chaos coming on the Play-ins day number 4. To be precise, already the half of Plains is over. Just 3 more days to go. Just 18 more matches to see, and eventually then we'll get to see which are the top 9 teams going to qualify for the grand finals from this Plains to be precise. Apart from that, two teams will be coming from the underdog arena, and apart from that, if we talk about another one team, that will be the fan favorite one. But let's talk about the overall standing first of all. Eagle, show us the way.
Well, of course, if we talk about the overall standings, it's Team NIGMA Galaxy. Well, they are getting 195 points and having a lead of almost 6 points into their backpack. DRANIX Esports, they are lagging behind those 6 points. I don't think this will be a difficult task for them to cover up those six points overall. But if we look towards V Pros, well, we can see a very large difference between V Pros and DRANIX. It's almost around of those 29 points, which will take you one or two matches to come on those top two position. But talking about OG Elite, well, they were also performing very good in the past days, but here we go with performance graph. Well, total points secured by Team NIGMA Galaxy 103 points, and if we look at kill points, well, it almost looks like 195. So graph typically states that Team NIGMA Galaxy, Team DRANIX, Team V Pros are totally leading the chart.
Indeed, the chart is something which is actually showing us that how far the performance is going to get built. But for now, I'm actually looking quite stoked about the competition today's. I believe that today's competition is actually going to tell us how far the situations will be helping out to these teams. But let's talk about the head-to-head. But first of all, we are going to talk about the head-to-head between two teams. Well, first of all, it's going to be DRANIX Esports. On the back end, we have got OG Elite. 90 kills coming from DRANIX's corner. When it comes to OG Elite, they've only got 69. If we talk about the attack ratio, we have got 60% attack coming from DRANIX Esports and 40% coming from the team known as OG Elite. But now let's talk about the player head-to-head. We have got Team MAFIAS Delete and NIGMA Galaxy's Top. One of those amazing assaulters coming from the corner. If we talk about the kill ratio, it is actually a little bit more in the favorable side of Delete, and team contribution is a little bit more favorable for Delete as well. Meanwhile, if we talk about Stop, I believe that team is particularly filled of those players who are able to get a lot of damage in their favor. So it seems like that although NIGMA Galaxy's Top is actually a very good assaulter, he has got 29 kills, the damage is good enough. But then again, the team contribution is not that high because all of the members of that particular team are able to help out each other in terms of having those damages and having those points.
Of course, if we talk about the damages and points, it almost looks very much similar in the head-to-head battle. But as I'll explain the schedule, well, the first match is going to be of Bermuda, then Purgatory, and then Kalahari. Will witness 6 matches back-to-back in today's day. And typically, if we talk about the by default map, Bermuda is going to be very much challenging for the teams because it's a one-day break, and the teams having a good start will, lose the momentum. And of course, the teams at those lower grounds can gain some momentum as after a one-day break. Typically, some things can change in overall point standing as well.
Looking forward to it, how far it is actually going to help them, because today's day is going to be quite an insightful day after a one-day break. As Eagle said, teams are actually going to resume their competition. But today's schedule, let me talk about the schedule as well, that which are the teams, which are the groups that are going to take a fight today. So today's schedule is actually going to be pretty similar. Group B and C, if I'm not wrong, are actually going to fight for the glory. And yesterday it was Makar Sankranti in India, and that is why I guess the competition was postponed a bit. But eventually today's day is actually going to be quite insightful. Group B and C, that means we have teams like NIGMA Galaxy, RRQ, KAZU, TSG Army will be there, HOTSHOT, RRQ official, DRANIX is actually going to be there. The tabletoppers, to be precise, are actually going to come back in the lobby, like NIGMA Galaxy and DRANIX are they going to be there. SCSL Pank is also going to be there. Delta X, Dedro Esports, Onyx Esports as well is going to be there. AV Radicals, and along with that, the giant of Nepal is actually going to be there. That is called V Bros. From Indian subcontinent, only 2 teams will be there. That is going to be TSG Army and Dedro Esports. From Nepali region, we have got only V Bros. From Philippines, only AV Radicals is going to come in. But from Indonesia and Thailand, I believe the majority of the teams are coming up. But one team from Pakistani region is also going to be there. But look at that, it's already started. Team Mafias is actually getting started. I believe there is some changes in the schedule. It could be possible that the schedule for today, I mean 14th to be precise, which was pretty much here, is actually going to get shifted to 16th. It is possible because the matches are going to get shifted for the particular holiday which was about to be there on the Monday, but eventually the holiday for Makar Sankranti came in, and that is why we are actually shifting that particular match on 16th. So that means today's schedule is between Group A and B, and that is the only reason that we are looking at Team Mafia at this point. So Group A and B, from that particular perspective, Mafias, OG Elite, E Arena, BTR Delta, Team World of Battle, DADAGANG, NIGMA Galaxy, RRQ, KAZU, TSG Army, HOTSHOT, RSQ Official, and DRANIX. These are the 12 teams which are going to take a fight.
Of course, these are the 12 teams who are going to take those fight at those early phases. But right now, if we look at Team EA, Limit has been taken down. Funa, Drugs, Shut Up. Well, these are the 3 players standing. They haven't got any finish point yet. And if we talk about the intensity of the lobby, it almost looks like 32 players are surviving in the particular lobby. And a lot of difficulties, a lot of challenges could be witnessed out. Let's see how will they move on, or what will be the strategy. Right now, the teams are very, loot focused. Of course, they are getting some advanced loot. But talking about DRANIX, They're lagging behind those 6 points and getting those second position in overall standings. I hope they'll end the day in positive note and get that table topper position in overall standings. But if we talk about the other players, Susanna, Pew, Mal, and Aimbot, all of them are 4 men standing, and still it's very much difficult for each of the player to take that start in a positive note, because as I said, after a 1 day break, it would be very much difficult for the teams to resume on the same momentum and same strategies. But yes, I believe some teams would be coming up with the strategies as well.
I mean, when you want to have the points, I believe the best you can actually do is claim those strategies in your favor, and I believe that the players are trying their level best to do and go for it. Bhagwan is there from OG's corner. This is actually good enough. They're trying to compensate. They're trying to gain the momentum. They're trying to actually gain as many S points as possible. But meanwhile, if we talk about the fragging power, I guess that is actually getting shattered quite a bit. It is actually diminishing little, but I hope so that in the next upcoming arena, I believe things might change for this particular team. The rooting for that at this point. If we talk about Bhagwan and his teammates, they're looking good enough. This is Emoji Elite looting the areas of Clock Tower, and apart from that, there could be enemies coming in the close quarter in the areas of Factory. But in Pochinok, we have got Team World of Battle fighting and eventually gaining some good points. Remember, guys, day before yesterday, Team World of Battle was absolutely amazing in terms of their strategies. They were quite a good team when it came to the comeback, when it came to the brutal attacks from the corner. But their momentum was shattered because the day was actually extinguished. And now another beautiful day has started. Group A and B are fighting. Let's see how far Team World of Battle is going to push themselves.
Of course, it will be very much challenging for World of Battle as well, because this is the new start of a new day, and you have some more 5 matches remaining apart from this match. And if we include this one, we have 6 matches. So yes, you can get a pretty good comeback out of the day 2, and you could perform without aggressive approaches at those early phases. And if those aggressive approaches doesn't work out, then you can go with that passive unit at the half. But yes, if we talk about Team TSG, well, they're also looking for men standing. They haven't got any finish point. They haven't lost any one of the players. So I believe they're coming with that positive start. They are trying to avoid the fights at those early phases, which is pretty clear that they are delivering that message that they will be getting some place point at those early phases, and then they could get those place point or finishers point. I'm sorry, but onto the other end, as we can see in the mini map, players are very close to each other. A little bit of clusters crowd could be created, and as this is the by default map, I think the position, the bridges, the glitches, each and everything will be known to each and every player. And right now they're advancing their loots so that they could win the fight when they're advancing their weapon as well, and which is very much a very good output to known B. But talking about Team HS, Sika, Hasu XC, Hotspot, and Union 69, all of them are 4 men standing, and still from the past 4 to 5 minutes, almost 32 players are surviving. But if we look at live location, well, there are 2 regions where you could see drop clash: RRQ versus BTR, well, XNP, where we could see a drop clash. Players are very close to each other, and let's see, will they love to initiate those fight at those early phases?
Well, indeed, have to look into the fact that eventually those initial clashes are going to be there or not. But when it comes to the teams which are not present in the lobby, RRQ, KAZU, and BTR, Delta was not there in the lobby, and that is why they are already out of the equation. Meanwhile, if we talk about Team Mafias, they started off quite well, but they have been eliminated at hashtag 10 with only 2 kills. That actually doesn't give them the kind of jump that we wanted to see. But if we talk about TSG, maybe Masaki Strip is actually going to be the area where they are going to jump in NIGMA Galaxy in the Mars Electric Arena. So definitely the fights might actually come in E Arena, also trying to push forward and eventually get all the blows in their favor. But let's see how far they will be able to go. Remember, guys, this is just the first match. You can also watch us on Loco, and eventually if you are there, make sure to follow us as well. And for now, if we talk about Asia Invitational Season 2, things are looking bit more clearer, because as per the overall standings, teams like NIGMA Galaxy and I believe some of the teams are actually on top, and the teams which are at the bottom have to come back even harder so that they can perform even stronger. Then DRANIX Esports on the other corner managed to put one down, and I believe that was Team HOTSHOT, Hasu, who has been finished off, and on the back end, more shots are being exchanged. Then look at that, another beautiful knockout, and that's HOTSHOT himself who has been taken down.
Beneath those things, I'll request each and everyone to please, guys, go to hit that like button, subscribe the channel, and share the stream. But at those early phases, DRANIX are getting totally aggressive and lethal in the particular match. They've got 1 finish point, going for a few more, and I don't think this will give a lot of confidence to the opponents, because the way they are playing, I think it could be very much struggling for opponents as well. But right now, Aimbot is leading the game, and finally he's getting that 1v1 into the right point, will be able to take that pick. And yes, I believe finally they got the pick, and total 1 finish point is secured by the particular team. Some amazing glue walls were created, and beneath those things of Team HOTSHOT, well, they have finally got eliminated. But still, if we look towards the drop clash. Well, BTR and RRQ, well, RRQ KAZU, well, both of the team are very much close to each other, and this could be very much difficult. If there's no drop clash, I totally agree the rotation clash could be very much difficult for the teams. But if we talk about the death board, a live player standing right now, almost 7 to 8 teams are standing. We have witnessed the elimination of 4 to 5 teams.
Well, the remaining are actually surviving, so good enough. Trying their level best to actually compensate and eventually get the bros from their corner is going to be the main goal. Let's see how far this situation will help them. Team World of Battle, meanwhile, is actually having 3 amazing finishes, which is lovely. But the UAV has been deployed so that they can learn out that way the enemy might be coming in the close quarters. Old Monk and his teammates, that means Emoji Elite is looking good and confident to be precise. They've got the clock tower region because the zone is favoring them, so they're not going to move forward that deep into the particular circle. And whenever the circle comes in, I believe then they will actually move forward. The blue zone is something which everybody fears for because the pressure from the blue zone is actually going to be quite amazing. But revival point is actually going to close in just 30 more seconds. Then after that, you can only use those vending machines, which is going to help you to recall your teammates. But meanwhile, these guys like Asenevo is one of those amazing MVP player, is having the amazing woodpecker in his hand, but still he is waiting woodpecker along with the baseball bat with the M10. That is the main criteria that this guy is actually having. But EA Limit manages to eliminate another beautiful guy from team RHQ official, that is the Bangladeshi team, under trouble.
Of course, RHK official, well, they will finally get eliminated in this particular game. And looking at other teams, looking at a World of Battles, well, they are standing with those 4-man strong advantage, and they have got those 2 finishes points. So, yes, I believe they have got those early phase start positive note to move on with, but I don't think this will be very much easy for the opponents to tackle them down because there are 2 teams coming with that strong comeback. It's TWOB and Team DRANIX as well. They have got a pretty good start, but the question is that how will they, able to maintain that same consistency throughout the game. But talking about Team EA, well, and standing, they have got those 4 finishes point into their favor, and perfect, start has been maintained by the team.
Right, indeed. I mean, that perfect initiation of the meta is something everybody has to watch out for, and that's what these guys are trying to go for. World of Battle, Shanti looking fine, trying to deliver the blows, trying to actually gain as many points that is possible at that moment. Eventually, it won't be that easy, that's for sure. But yeah, they are still surviving. They are still attaining that kind of damage which is required. But Insane on the back foot is actually going to fall back a bit more. Sasuke Bhai is there. Shanti meanwhile gets taken down. Itachi is already finished off. Team World of Battle is not looking that good. But look at that. TSG Army is actually going to get favored quite a bit because that was a team which was looting the Bhima Shakti strip area. And they are pretty much surviving, if I'm not wrong. Clock Tower is the region where Team OG Elite was surviving. So the apes can actually go for the Bhima Shakti strip. In the factory region, another team is fighting and at the same time, if I talk about World of Battle, P could be the area from where the fights will rise.
Well, of course, I believe this could be very much challenging and very much crucial for the teams as well. And I believe the audience are asking for the points table. So, guys, you can just rewind the stream for 10 minutes or 12 minutes, and then you can see the points table, which was represented of overall standing up to day 3. And if you are talking about the Hindi stream, well, you can totally visit on the another stream happening on Lidoma India as well. But similarly, if we look at World of Battle Insane, well, I don't think this glue wall will work for a longer period of time. Finally, that glue wall has been broken down. Another glue wall should be created as fast as possible. And finally, yes, he's creating those glue wall and E-Arena. Well, this team was getting a good start out of it, but finally they got eliminated. If you look at the surviving team, there are almost 5 to 6 teams surviving right now. Few teams could be seen with those man advantage. If we talk about the TWOB, well, they're having only 1 player surviving, and finally they will be also getting eliminated from this particular match. Team OG Elite, well, they were totally phenomenal on day 3 and day 2, but will they able to deliver the same consistency or same meta in this particular day as well?
It's a big task to be precise, but indeed they have to actually come back even stronger. They have to gain the points in the favor, otherwise things won't be that favorable for the team. So looking forward to it, to be honest. DRANIX Esports with 4 on kills only. DG, if I talk about that team, well, look at that. Another shot goes on from NIGMA Galaxy corner. NIGMA Galaxy, if you don't remember, is the team which is almost on the top of the leaderboard, and eventually this is the team which is most chaotic in terms of their fights, to be precise. So I'm still looking forward to it, that how far they will be able to push forward. But look at that, another shot, another takedown. That was amazing. NIGMA Galaxy's Dio is not about to stop anytime soon. He was able to knock out 1. He's going to finish off him, and apart from that, now only 19 players are surviving. But look at that, Dio gets an answer with a knockout of his own.
Totally agreed. Dio gets an answer of a knockout of his own. But right now, looking at the live statistics, well, almost 18 players are standing out, and if you look at the teams, well, there are 5 to 6 teams alive right now. It could be very much difficult if each team comes with those man advantage and with those players advantage, and here we could see a 4v4 battle between Team PSG and Team Nigma Galaxy, but Camp Hop not taking that great position. Some amazing grenades, a rocket launcher has been used. Stop, well, he's totally moving to stop this particular battle and get those finishes put into his particular area, but I don't think this will be that doable enough. It's going to be very much difficult for Nigma Galaxy. Almost 2 players has been taken down, and in TSG they're looking on roll, and finally Nigma Galaxy, if I'm not wrong, they will be getting eliminated, and TSG, well, a perfect roll on. As well as if we talk about this particular team, they performed very phenomenally. The coordination, the communication between the players was very good, and which was totally proclaimed and respected out in the particular fight.
Well, it honestly looks quite amazing that TSG Army as a team love to drop in the Prima Sakti region, and from the start they were actually being shown in the Prima Sakti region, and look how beautifully they were able to defend their territory. And now it's OG Elite which is trying to pop out. 11 players to be precise are surviving, but DADAGANG already gets finished off. Nigma Galaxy out of equation. Now the focus gets shifted on Team TE, and that's what is happening. Look at that, TSG is actually getting pressure, and the whole team TSG, if I'm not wrong, has been eliminated, and the last 1 or 2 member which have been surviving from Team TSG is also going to get shattered soon enough. Apart from that, Bhagwan and his teammates are pretty much readily available, trying to take down the shots. The struggle is coming, so they have to push forward with the glue walls as fast as possible. But Bahari is actually getting pressurized quite a bit. The wall is actually going to be there for him to just get a cover for a little bit of a longer period of time. But now he has actually got the tree trunk area in his favor. With that, he's going to repatch himself. Unfortunately, he has to push forward. He has to go into the zone. His teammates are actually giving him the cover which is required at that point. Now the shots will actually come in. Pahari fails to connect, and look at that, Pahari has been taken down. That's a sad one to be precise. It is looking like at this point, it seems like that TSG Army could be the one which is banging out this particular round. But let's see who is going to be the one who is going to be actually getting the round particularly in the favor, but it is actually looking quite amazing. Bhagwan on the back foot has got his own guns out of the equation. He's trying to just wait for the enemy to come in the close quarters, and if it is coming, that would be lovely. DRANIX Esports is the team which is actually getting surprised quite a bit. The revival is actually going to come in. Actually, it's a self-res to be honest, and yes, the self-res is done. Shots are actually still getting appointed, but no knockouts are actually being delivered. It seems like that at this point, OG could be the one which is going to go on the back foot.
So you could go apart from those backward scenarios, but right now if Team DRANIX win this match, I totally agree they could get those those finishes point as well as place point as well. And finally a good headshot was connected out, and finally, if I'm not wrong, Team DRANIX is getting that Poya very phenomenally and very smoothly in this particular match. And I believe if as they were landing in second position in overall points table, now I believe totally agree that the lead will be totally covered out, and the lag would be totally being covered out as well.
An amazing performance to be precise. All said and done at this point, DRANIX Esports is going to bag out another beautiful booyah from the corner, and this is how they will be showcasing their talent. And having this kind of performance is obviously going to give you an upper hand. The team which was in front of them was Team OG Elite. They tried their level best to survive, but eventually the last one standing from Team OG Elite was unable to counter. Although he was able to give some initial knockouts, but after that, when the self-res was done, when the 1 versus 2 push was there, Charge Buster was used by the team known as DRANIX Esports, and with that, they were able to completely dish out the damage which was required. For that perspective, the Bermuda map is already over. DRANIX Esports is already bagging out the beautiful booyah in their favor, and now we are actually going to wait for the next one to start. But before that, I believe the overall standing and stuff like that will come in. For this day particularly, overall standing for day number 5 or day number 4, whatever you want to call it out, because the day number 4, which was supposed to happen yesterday, is actually going to get postponed for 16th. That means tomorrow, I believe. So yeah, that's how the schedule is going to go on. But meanwhile, if we talk about the action, it's looking quite smooth. The fights are looking quite brilliant at this point, but eventually let's see how far the standings are actually going to go and how far the shifts on the standings are actually going to be there, because at the end of the day, leaderboard is something which is going to decide every single thing. If you are actually able to capsize on everybody, or is it going to be some of those risky rotations that actually come in front of you? Everything has to be cleared by those particular leaderboard standings, and we are waiting for those overall standing. But meanwhile, let me remind you guys, the next set of matches are going to be like Purgatory and Kalahari, and after that this whole circle is actually going to get repeated. That means Bermuda will once again come in the match number 4, then Purgatory match number 5, match number 6 that will wrap up the day is actually going to be in Kalahari. That means 2 Red Desert map, 2 maps where the 3 islands will meet. That means Purgatory, and 2 maps where the Bermuda, the classic one to be precise, is going to get formed. First match, Bermuda is already over. DRANIX is already having the advantage. What about the next 5, guys? Give us your predictions.
Of course, as we talked in the first day, there could be a lot of, reputation in Boya. Team DRANIX only got those three Boya in the first day. And if we talk about the second day, well, if we talk about Team RHK, they were totally phenomenal. So, yes, we can see a lot of comeback in each day by different teams. So, we can't suggest that which team will get those over a good position in overall standings, or which team will retain their position throughout the day. But, yes, after 3 days, after 2 days, I'll say Team DRANIX will again get that legacy which was shown on the first day itself. So right now I'm expecting other teams as well. Like if I talk about Team Nigma Galaxy, Team RHK, Team RRQ, and Team TSG, well, they haven't performed so well in the past days. But yes, I agree that they could come with a lot of good comebacks in today's particular day. Still, there are 5 matches remaining, and as you explained, the maps are the next match will be of Purgatory and then Kalahari, then again Bermuda, Purgatory, and Kalahari. So yes, we're gonna witness another 5 set of matches. But before that, I would love to see that what will be the point standings and what will be the overall standings of this particular match, and what will be the changes in overall standings as well, because our audience will be also waited to see those things. But before that, guys, if you haven't liked the stream, please go to hit that like button, subscribe the channel, share the stream, do show your support, because it gives a lot of moral supports to us.
Indeed, guys, go for it. Make sure to actually subscribe to the channel. And yes, just like Eagle said, that make sure to just support the channel, particularly because this kind of seasons are actually always coming from the particular org known as Lidoma Asia. And I believe you are pretty much excited to see what will happen in the grand finals. But remember, guys, in the grand finals, not only I guess 9 teams which are going to get qualified are going to take part. Apart from that, 2 underdog teams are actually going to be there, and one fan favorite team is also going to witness their carnage in that particular arena. So looking forward to it. At what will happen, how the fights are actually going to get built in the particular arena of uh, the grand finals. In grand finals, 7 matches will be there every day. That means 3 days of 7 matches. It comes to a total of 21 matches, if I'm not wrong. If any changes of the schedule are actually going to be there, we'll let you know. But as per now, the schedule is pretty much similar. And looking excited at this point. Looking forward to see what happens. But yes, teams like OG Elite, they are trying their best to counter a bit. The Mafias once again are getting eliminated quite early. But eventually, the goal is going to be pretty similar. All you have to do is just survive till the top 9 positions.
Well, of course, you need to survive in overall standing till top 9 position to get qualified for the grand finals. And this is the day 4, and after this, we'll be also witnessing 2 days in this particular phase. And after that, 3 days of grand finals with those 6 matches again. So, yes, this is a big giant tournament, and we have almost completed 50% of this particular phase, and 50% still is remaining. So, you have I believe day 4 and day 5 is the last 2 days for the teams landing around 10th to 20th position. If they don't give a comeback around these particular days, I believe this could be very much challenging and very crucial for all of the teams.
Indeed, the comeback should be there. But for now, let's talk about the leaderboard. Overall standing, day number 4 to be precise. DRANIX Esports is going to be on top with 11 eliminations and 12 ranking points. That comes up to a total of beautiful 23 points in their favor. That's amazing to be precise. Looking forward to see how far the standings will actually get built. And on the back foot, if I talk about the team known as OG Elite, we have got 16 points from the corner. This is good enough. They have got decent amount of kill points, but not in the double digits to be precise. Apart from that, TSG Army also was able to secure 6 kill points and a total of 14 points from the corner as well. Nigma Galaxy only 10 points, but that makes them the one of the consistent team. When they have got the double digits, they can easily impact the leaderboard as well.
I totally agree. They could impact the leaderboard as well, and this will be the first match, the point standings of the first particular match. The next map is of Purgatory, the map of 3 islands, and this could be very much difficult because crossing those islands, crossing those bridges could cause you a lot of trouble and a lot of challenges as well. But typically, if we talk about Purgatory, well, I believe a lot of comeback could be retained by few teams, and then after Purgatory, the map will be of Kalahari. So without wasting any time, talking about the fly path, a perfect diagonal fly path could be witnessed, and a pretty decent zone. A little bias towards the northern part of the region could be witnessed out.
Well, let's see how far the situations will actually help them. Is it going to be a strategy where the developments of these fights are actually going to be there, or we might actually witness something else? Looking forward to it. For now, Team Mafias, once again, their perspective are pretty much clear to us. They're trying their best to delegate the fights, but we all know what will happen. Things might change for this particular team, so I'm pretty much stoked, pretty much excited that how far this whole elimination is actually going to be there, how far the whole fights are actually going to be there in the favor of Mafia Bara and his teammates. But it is actually going to be a little bit more shaky, to be honest. But let's see what happens, how far this will help them. Team Mafia's Zillit is there. Bhagwan is actually going to be there on the back foot. Old Monk is there. SN Evos is going to be there from OG Elite's corner. 38 players are surviving. That means still two teams have failed to join. I believe one could be BTR Delta and other one could be some other team. I don't know the name of that particular team particularly, but World of Battle Insane finally manages to eliminate one out of the equation.
Of course, so they'll get those one finish point at those early phases. But right now, we look at the current intensity of the game. Well, 37 players are standing out. Team Asin, Old Monk, Pahadi, and Bhagwan. Well, they are four men standing, and they haven't got any one of the finish point yet. So yes, they're trying to avoid fight, or they're going with that slow and steady approaches to get those first place point and position point, and then they could go with those finishes point. But right now, one finish point has been secured with this particular team. But onto the end, it's Team EA, and between those things, the Team DRANIX got that booyah in the last particular match, and in this particular game, they will be the first team to get eliminated, and which is not a good consistency to be maintained of. At least they could get some average overall points in this particular game, around 8 to 10, which could give them a lot of boost in consistency. But right now, I think elimination at this particular point, I don't think they could maintain the consistency in the upcoming matches as well.
When you want to actually gain the points, what you have to do is just go ahead and get the blows done, get the fights in your favor. That's what these guys are trying their level best to actually go with. So looking forward to see how far this team is actually going to build this energy, and is it going to be a possible outcome where they will be having some decent advantages. Because if we talk about TSG, Senior is already out of equation. Black is there. Shino's HP is not looking that good, and if we talk about Valia, well, he's also not looking that great. Shino meanwhile also gets taken down. Look at that, another beautiful knockout is already here. Shows that how far the team which is actually pushing them is being very chaotic on them. Senior 29 meanwhile also gets finished off. He's actually going to regroup to his teammates so that they can survive, so that they can loot a bit more and then maybe fight back even harder. Because at this point, loot is actually going to be the main goal. Only having a pistol in the hands is not going to cut the deal. What you have to do is secure some good, decent, advantageous loot so that you can actually push forward and maybe come back even harder.
But of course, talking about Team HOTSHOT, they are looking also very strong enough. Right now, they are four men standing. They haven't got any finish point, and the intensity of the lobby is totally 35 players are standing out. Still, it could be very much challenging and very much difficult for few teams to maintain the same consistency. But the tracing of vehicle has been done around those bridges region. I don't think it could be that easy enough, that possible enough for the players and teams. Let's see how will they move on, or what will be the potential to take on with. But right now, Team H is not looking that strong enough. Going with that slow and steady approach, I totally think this will give you a lot of tougher tasks to be maintained off. And right now, if they maintain the consistency, I totally agree, at those end zone, they can boom the game.
It is quite possible. But let's see how far these possibilities are going to get developed. And for now, if we talk about the live locations, as you can see that in the query region, we have got the team known as the DADAGANG. And when it comes to the clashes, I believe only quite a few places like Team World of Battle and RRQ are in the Moth House area, where the fights will actually rise quite a bit from their corner. And the teams which have failed to join are actually going to be RRQ, KAZU, and BTR Delta. These are the two teams which have not joined the lobby yet. So it actually comes up as a very risky stance from their corner particularly. Only 18 teams are there. Out of these 18 teams, only the top 9 are going to get qualified, and having every single match in your favor is going to be the main meta for the teams. But for now, if we talk about Team OG Elite, they are in the fields. Moth House is there, occupied by Team World of Battle as well as Team RHK Official. That is the particular team coming from Bangladesh. DADAGANG 20, NIGMA Galaxy in the Brasilia region, Team Mafias in the Crossroads. If we talk about Arena, they are in the Lumber Mill, and meanwhile HOTSHOT are in the Central. And if we talk about TSG, well, their approach is a little bit more different. They are going to the golf course. Well, I guess the picks are something which is going to be quite critical. So let's see what they are going to pick, how far they are going to build this energy. Fields is there. Moth House is actually going to be another beautiful area where teams might actually jump in. But NIGMA Galaxy, well, they are having a decent location of the loot, but they are outside the zone, so that's why they have to just push really far into the zone, particularly because they were close to force, but now they have to actually go farther to the campsite region, and before that they have to reach out to the circle as well. Somebody could be gatekeeping them, and that can be quite critical. But RSQ Official, they're also surviving here. And I believe they're pretty much close to that particular area where the snow is actually going to be there. But Ajka Rifat, Udsho, Mithul, Blade, these are the 4 members still surviving for the team and looting every single vicinity that they find in.
Well, particularly talking about
going to be quite critical for them. Bahuna is actually going to be there on the back foot. We've got August E-Arena looking quite sharp at this point, but still are unable to get any kind of blow in their favor. They are actually having a decent advantage in terms of flying power, but for now they are just trying to figure out if there is any kind of enemy in the close quarter. And if I talk about the gun combination, that's going to be pretty much similar. M10 is there with the Woodpecker, I believe, and the safe zone will shrink in just 55 seconds, so that's another brutal blow to the lobby.
Of course, particularly talking about Team EA, well, they are 4-man standing. They had got 1 finish point. So, yes, a pretty decent start has been maintained off. And I believe if they go with that same consistency and same momentum, I'm sure that they could get some more finishes point at those early phases. But right now, to maintain that consistency is way more important, and also to maintain those man advantage, because those man advantage will give you a lot of boost and a lot of momentum in those end game, and you could surely win the game with those man advantage into your side. But right now, if we look at those mini map, yes, they are very close to the enemies around some typical houses, and I believe if they go to the southern parts of the region, around southwestern part, I totally assure you that some rotation clashes could be seen around.
Indeed, the possibility is there, but let's see how far these possibilities are going to rise. Is it going to be an actual clash, or something else might actually come in? That is the biggest question for now. But looking forward to it, how far it is actually going to help the people, how far it is actually going to help the advantage this fight as well. That is the biggest question for now. But yes, the advantage of these particular fights have to be circumcised, and eventually the blues are something which is actually going to be quite critical for these guys. So for now, things are looking a little bit more passive. Shots are being taken from Mafia's corner as well, but the Mafias are still failing to just attack, or should I say attain any kind of advantage for now. So these are the few things they have to consider, at how they are going to build their strategy, how far they are actually going to get the points in the game. Otherwise, things will be just a little bit more on the shaky corner. So still trying to figure out what happens, how the fights are actually going to get built is the bigger question for now.
Particularly talking about Team TM, well, they haven't got any finish point. They are still searching for that start to be maintained off, and right now all of the 4 players are standing out. So yes, if they indulge themselves in a particular fight right now, I totally agree that they could win those fights with those man advantage, with the correct coordination and communication. But if after losing man advantages, if they are trying to initiate those fight, especially the opening one at those end game, I assure you that it could be very much difficult and challenging for the teams, as well as particularly Team TE. Well, looking at Team TSG, well, Black, A14, Wala, Shinu, and Senior 29, all of them are 4-man standing. They haven't got any finish point yet. They are dealing this damage to the zone, and I believe here some amazing rotational clashes could be created out. And these, I believe, Blue was not for a longer period of time. And finally, Shinu has been taken down, and he'll get eliminated. Talking about Black 27, well, he's pretty smart enough that he'll choose the zone first, and getting inside the zone again. I think this is something different. This is something different to watch out, and I believe he's going back to take the revenge of his players.
Well, to be honest, it is quite possible to see that this kind of attraction, this kind of attraction from this particular fight is going to be quite critical. So yeah, I'm actually pretty much keen about the fact that the fights are still coming up, and the brutal blows are actually something which is going to help them a lot. Let's see how far the situations will help them, how far these synergies are actually going to help them is the bigger question for now. So it's looking good. It's looking quite an amazing fight, to be precise, is coming from the corner. TSG Army is actually losing 2 good players of their team. That is going to be Vali and Sheen 29. But Senior and Black 27, both of them are actually going to build some kind of new initiation, or should I say some kind of new strategy, so that they can actually bring back the team. Otherwise, it is actually going to be quite a risky fight, to be precise, from the corner. So yeah, we are still trying to figure out that how far will the situation help them. If we talk about DG, or should I say DADAGANG, they've got the 2 frags and 4-man power is there. Team World Battle is performing exceptionally well in this particular battle. Well, it looks nice for now. Let's see how far they will go.
Particularly talking about NIGMA Galaxy, they're also having pretty good hold to be maintained off. And right now, we look at the live teams. Well, it's almost 7 to 8 teams live right now. If we look at the alive players, well, 28 alive players could be seen here. So I don't think this could be that easy enough for any one particular team. And DRANIX well is again in the list of MVP with those 34 finishes pointed to their favor. A good start was maintained by Team DRANIX in the first day itself, and is maintaining that 2 in the day 4 as well. So yes, I think the consistency is required till the end game, until the last day, to win that most valuable player tag of this particular tournament. But talking about RRQ, they struggle each and every day for that comeback. They play 1 or 2 good matches, and after that the consistency could not be maintained by the team.
when you want to gain the points, what you have to do is have the right strategy, have the right call outs about the packs, and eventually, yes, that's what these teams are trying to go for. Actually, having the right strategies, they're actually having the right call outs, which is actually going to help them in the end game. So for now, things are looking to pretty much decent for them. If we talk about teams like DADAGANG, they are actually surviving. The World Battle is actually on the back foot. EA is actually on their particular stances. They are also trying their level best to just exceptionally perform well. ESG Army, meanwhile, have been diminished. That shows that even the strongest teams are now getting pressurized quite a bit. This is what I never expected. There was earlier moments that these kind of teams are going to get diminished. But EA, what should I say? Team E Arena is trying to be a little bit more on the aggressive corner. They are actually getting the blows. They are actually trying to do a lot of knockouts, but they are still getting bashed around.
They're still going fast around, and particularly Maze is not looking in a good condition. A limit, and it's Rugs that has taken down. Last two players standing, it's Puna and Shutta, the lone ranger for the team, the two players standing for the team. Let's see how will they play off, or what will be the particular strategy of this team in this particular game. But I don't think this is not going to be that much easy for any one of the team. OG Tipu, well, he has got some now, he's got some finishes point, but again, this glue wall will not work for a longer period of time. HOTSHOT has been eliminated, and top 17 alive players, as well as top 6 teams. E-Arena, well, within a snap, this team will also get eliminated.
The elimination is already here. That shows that whenever you want to be aggressive, what happens is actually going to be the results are actually going to get shifted. So seems quite well at this point, and the performance is actually looking quite decent. So yeah, I'm still trying to figure out that how far they will be able to go on DG, or should I say the other gang is looking decent, but now the damage is coming up. Look at that, 2 or 3 members have been taken down. That's bad. Now the last man standing was Psycho, if I'm not wrong, but let's see how far he is going to survive as well. Team Mafias is doing exceptionally well. Mafia himself is actually having a lot of points in his favor. NIGMA Galaxy meanwhile gets finished off. Team Mafias are coming back quite stronger. They know that they have to be in the top 9, and eventually this could be the one last day where they might to perform, because the group shifts are something which is going to put them at that versatile spot. For now, Team Mafias is trying to just get as many kills as possible, but the domination is coming from Team World of Battle.
I totally agree. Team Worlds of Battle, well, they are currently 2 men standing, but the Teat finishes point target, that was totally fantastic to move on with. So they have got a good start, but the man advantage that could not be maintained. And right now, I believe this could be a really struggling scenario to move on with. We are finally on top 2 teams, top 5 alive players, and let's see how will these 2v3 scenarios will build on. But right now, looking at the current condition, Team TM with those man advantage, I think totally could win that fight, and I believe, yes, if I'm not wrong, Team TM will get that fight particularly.
A beautiful battle coming up on site, and with that, the fight is done. The performance is pretty much over, and you can only see that a clear win or loss, should I say, a clear victory to be precise, is actually here. So this is looking quite nice coming from Team Mafia's corner, but let's see how far they will be able to go with this kind of performance. And in the next upcoming stages, I believe things might change. The shifts might actually come in from the corner, but I hope so that their performance is going to be consistent enough that they will be able to get the blows in their favor, that they will be able to perform exceptionally well. And if the performance is going to be pretty much similar, and I believe if the gun game is also going to be pretty much similar, it will be a very amazing, insightful match from the corner. Team Mafias, a huge comeback indeed coming from the corner. The expectations were there, and eventually they were standing tall on the expectations. But now let me once again remind you, the teams that they are facing are an amazing set of teams. Like OG Elite is there, E-Arena is there. E-Arena was countered quite a bit. That was amazing. BTR Delta, and along with that particular KAZU is also failing to join. These are the teams which are coming from Indonesian region. Although another Indonesian team, that is DRANIX, is present in the lobby. That means that yes, the country is there and somebody is there to fight for them. Apart from that, if we talk about Team World of Battle, an exceptionally well game is once again coming from the corner, because they were able to have 10 or so finishes in their favor. That shows that they were also quite close to the domination, and it is looking good for them.
Of course, it was looking very good for the team and good for the players as well. But this will be the end of a second match of day 4, which is of Purgatory, and the map of 3 islands has finally come to end. But this is the end of second match, and in the in the fifth match again, we'll see the map of Purgatory. But the next map is the map of comebacks, or we can talk about the map of chaos, the map of Kalahari, full of desert, those height advantages, those ridges, and these things always tackle the teams a lot. These teams, give a lot of trouble to the team teams and players as well. So let's see which team will show a pretty good comeback in map of Kalahari. But before that, moving towards the points table of this particular match and overall standings, that how teams have performed and how it's been reflected in the overall leaderboard. But keeping those things aside, first, guys, you have to hit that like button, subscribe the channel, share the stream to show your support, because it becomes very much important for us, for the moral support of the organization and the casters and production as well.
Indeed, guys, support your favorite teams, support us as well if you are loving the stream. And if there is any constructive criticism, go for it as well, so that we can actually learn and know that what is going wrong at this point. And apart from that, I believe everything is looking quite peace and calmful, and things are looking a little bit more strategy coming from these teams' corner. So I'm excited to see what happens in the next upcoming days. I'm excited to see what happens today as well, because 4 more matches are left, and in these 4 matches, things will change quite rapidly. And for that change, I'm actually ready. I'm stoked about it, as the changes might actually come in. But yeah, make sure to subscribe, make sure to actually like the stream, make sure to support as much as you can. Meanwhile, when it comes to the live chat, let's go to the live chat as well for a moment, so that we can talk with our amazing lovely viewers. And the aim is actually of 70k subscribers. Can we hit 70k subscribers, guys, before the event ends? That means before 28th Jan. Is it going to be the biggest question? It is going to be the biggest question, to be precise. And World of Battle, 20 points, team 20 points. It happens. I mean, if you want to actually compete, what you have to do is gain a lot of points. That's what these guys are trying to do. They're gaining a lot of points. They're gaining back and forth the aggression that was required. But then again, I believe something might shift. The credible fights are actually going to change as soon as the shift in the lobby will be there. But today's day is looking good enough for Group A. From Group A, teams are performing exceptionally well. Let me remind you which are the teams coming from Group A. Well, we have got Team The MAFIAS. Well, they already had a beautiful booyah. OG Elite 16-pointer game in the previous matchup, and Team World of Battle also is present in the same group. So this is the Group A, to be precise, which is having a beautiful advantage. Apart from that, Group B is getting shattered quite a few times. This shows that Group B, after the break, they are unable to just give that huge comeback.
Well, I believe this could be really challenging for the teams, as we are playing in different groups A, B, and C. The round robin could take place, which is taking place. And of course, this could be very much difficult for the teams to understand the strategy of different maps of different teams, and at different days. Each day, I believe teams would come and be up different strategies. And of course, they would be saving some of them for the grand finals as well. So, yes, it could be very much challenging for each of the team and each of the players, that how would they read the strategies and planning of the opponents, because it becomes very much important to know other weakness as well as your strength also. So let's see how will they move on, how will they perform out. But apart from those things, we'll directly move towards the, I believe, overall standings of this particular day. But before that, as Rita mentioned, guys, please do support our lovely viewers, our lovely audience. You need to show the support and get that 70k target done very soon, because it's very easy for you all to hit those like, subscribe, share button, and get us motivated along the side. But keeping those things aside, again, coming back to the event, well, the third match, well, this is of Kalahari, a map of desert full of those chaos cluster. And I believe, if I ask you a pitch radar, which team will get that comeback in this particular match, or which team can retain the legacy?
If you ask the particular team, I won't be able to coin out a single team. But eventually, if we're talking about the group, I believe Group A is actually going to be the group from where the teams might actually come back with another booyah. But I'm still counting on Team TSG Army at this point to get a booyah, because till now, I believe TSG Army is the only team from Indian subcontinent which was unable to get any kind of booyah in their favor. So looking forward to it, how far TSG Army is going to go on. HOTSHOT on the other corner is also a good team, which was able to give the counter in the second or the first day. But after that, the counter is not here, and that counter has to come. Otherwise, things will not be that favorable for the team.
Of course, this could be really very struggling and very challenging for the teams and players as well. They could now don't get those position at those early phases. They should have those finishes point at those early phases and get a good start of it. But I don't think this would be going for a longer period of time. And if you get at those early knocks, if you get those finishes point at those early knocks, it will be always a pleasure and a good head start for your team and for your teammates as well. But without wasting any time, we will directly move towards the overall standings of day 4. Well, 16 eliminations and 14 ranks, total 30 points has been secured by TWOB Esports. E-Arena landing around the second position with those 25 points, and DRANIX Esports just lagging behind with those 1 point into their favor with those 24 points.
Indeed, at this moment, you can see that the leaderboard is showcasing us that the team which is on top is going to be Team World of Battle Esports with a beautiful advantage. Although they don't have any kind of booyah, but then again they were quite consistent in their approach, which is absolutely amazing. Arena Esports also no booyahs from the corner, but they are still at the second position in the leaderboard. That shows you have to be consistent. But meanwhile, DRANIX Esports back again on the charming regions with 24 points in their favor. Team the MAFIAS with only 22 points. They have secured a booyah, although they were pretty much struggling before this particular matchup to get any kind of booyah. But meanwhile, DADAGANG, NIGMA Galaxy, TSG Army, these are the quite a few amazing teams which are able to get a lot of blows, a lot of beautiful aggressive points in the favor. They were able to get close to 18 points in a single match. That shows they're credible, they're ready, they are pumped up to have as much as points as possible, although the shifts are still coming up.
Well, of course, if we talk about the shifts, well, the shift must be coming around. But similarly, if we talk about the third match of the day, well, third matches of Kalahari, as I said, the map of desert, the map of chaos, the map of clusters, and a lot of comeback and a lot of retention could be seen around this map. And I believe Team DRANIX and Team RHK, even Team TSG, has a particular chance to get a strong comeback with those, a good number of finishes point into the backpack. And if they have a good start, good head start to move on with around those 2-3 points, I'll pretty much sure they'll get a lot of confidence, a lot of momentum, and that confidence could particularly see in this match. So without wasting any time, we'll directly move towards the map, and there comes the fly path, a typical diagonal fly path, typical slanting fly path could be seen. And here we go, we'll start with S and Evo's Old Monk, Bhagwan and Pahadi. Well, they're 4-man standing, and the intensity of the lobby, well, particularly if we talk about this intensity, well, 30 players are standing around, and yes, I believe a lot of difficulties could be created for them.
The start is already here. Buzi Elite trying their level best to be exceptionally well, but let's see how far their exceptions are actually going to come in. For now, would love to add on that Mafia Bala, Vidit Gujar, surviving, but Mafia Bala also gets taken down. Vidit Gujar, the last man standing of his team, now wants to fall back. Remember, guys, in the last one, you saw this team having the booyah, this team getting a beautiful booyah, but now look at the struggle that they are facing. They want to recall their teammates, and he was waiting for the recall to be done, but finally the recall is actually going to be there. Look at that, he's actually tapping on the recall area and just trying his level best to go for the recall of his teammates. If the teammates will be back in the game, I guess things will be a little more favorable for the fight. But Vedit Guja, the last man standing, the only hope for the team is here right now. But the enemy is also coming in the close quarter. It is actually going to be quite risky for him to survive.
Of course, it's going to be very much risky, and some amazing glue walls have been also created. And after saving one player, if you are getting eliminated again, I don't think this is beneficiary enough. This would be a positive roll on enough, but right now Gujar is looking very much strong, having a great weapon into hand, moving with that fan, so that movement could be a bit faster. Right now, 32 players are standing out, and as we can see, 2 players have been recalled again, and there Gujar has given a lot of damage. He's barely survived from those 41 HP around, and for first it could be popped out. I think this would be more better. But right now, looking at those drop clashes, well, if we talk about the drop clashes, XNP, where RRQ and BTR again they're challenging each other.
First of all, I believe Gujar, after getting the frag, what he should have done was go for the repatching of his health, but eventually he was able to bring back his teammates, and that is the biggest part of this particular fight. And the reason behind it is looking quite good. Well, the teammates are back in the lobby. That means they are actually easily going to be able to get as many points as possible. So looking forward to it, that how far they are actually going to go on. But look at that, the shop tokens are here. Mining machines are being utilized. It is actually getting used up, which is absolutely lovely. Let's see how far these advantages is going to help them. TSG Black 27 is there. Chinu 09 is also going to be on the back foot. Luvalia is there. And with Senior 29's loss and Valia's loss, TSG is still on the back foot. Seems like that it can be quite risky, that they might not survive in this battle.
Well, of course, still it could be very much risky and very much challenging for the teams and players as well. But right now, looking at Team XNP, BTR, RRQ, they are still standing on, they are still moving on. Similarly, onto the other end, if we talk about Mammoth region, well, it's Team TSG, and there could be some rotation clashes. I believe this could be really very much struggling for the teams and for the players as well. 30 players are surviving right now. Team HOTSHOT, well, they haven't got any finishes point, and yes, they're going for their slow and steady start. So at the early phases, of course, team will go with that, a lot of decent momentum, a lot of slow phase of the game, and finally when they have a pretty good loot, they surely aggress out and get those finishes point of that.
Fights are here. Trying to neglect them is not going to be an easy one. NEPAL Galaxy, if I talk about this team, Kapom is there and the other members are also trying to just go a little bit more closer. RRQ official in the Mammoth region, which is pretty much part of the circle, and the safe zone is also shrinking. So what they have to do is reach out to the particular play zone, otherwise it's not going to be that easy for them to just survive. The arena on the other corner also goes into the close quarters of the recall tower, and remember guys, this was the area where the particular guy known as Vidit Guja was finished off. Before that, if we talk about aimbot, he's actually finished off. Pew, Mal, and Susanna are the three members of Team DRANIX Esports, which is surviving. DRANIX have already secured a booyah today, and they are looking forward to secure another one.
Of course, they have already secured a booyah today, and I believe this could be a good, great start to move on with. But right now, again, 32 players are standing. Very difficult task to be maintained out, as we can see. But right now, if the intensity of the lobby is maintained like this only, this could be really challenging for the teams. It could be really challenging for the players as well. And let's see how will they move on. Will they go with that same hold or same momentum, or they would love to change the plan right now? Because changing the plan would be a great decision to take on with, because I agree, if 33 players are surviving and the zone shrink is taking place and still the man advantage is not going down, I totally agree, this could be really very challenging for the teams.
It is quite challenging, but let's see what will be there and how far the results are going to help them. King, if I talk about this guy, is here. From Team Dada Gang to besides Superman has been finished off. DG Deepu is there. King's Mr. OV is also going to be there. Psycho is actually going to be there. But look at that. Deepu has already been taken down. That's again a big loss for the team. Let's see how far the losses are going to evolve, how far the points are actually going to get evolved. Superman meanwhile survives and he's back in the game and he's been revived.
Of course, it's been divided in some amazing blue walls. Well, that has also been created right now to maintain that temporary cover for a bit period of time. But Cyclo double legs is still moving on. Finally, has been taken down. Deepu, King, Mr. DV. Well, these are two players standing, and if they could recall their players at this time, I totally agree that this will be a good task to be maintained out. But right now, 7 to 8 players are standing. Two finishes point has already secured by Team EA, Funa, Limit Drugs, and Shut Up. While all of them are 3 men standing, and beneath those things, I believe Team Mafias have been eliminated, and this is not a good news.
Well, indeed, the picks are there. RHK on the other corner is also trying to pop off a lot of blood, which is amazing. The arena is looking quite confident for now. They're getting a lot of blows, they're getting a lot of advantages, which is lovely. But from the back foot, what they have to do is evolve a bit, is gain a lot of points in their favor. That's what they mean. I guess meta is actually going to be there. Command post is another beautiful region where the fights are coming from. So that is again going to be quite critical for them to just survive and eventually have their advantages. Deep was there from the DG's corner versus Team DADAGANG. Remember, guys, a beautiful team to be precise, but they have to bring back Superman, and yes, exactly that's what happened. Superman is back in the game. Shop tokens, the 3 tokens that were required for his revival, were already used up, and with that, Team DADAGANG is coming up with the boom and power. But from the back quarter, the shot comes in. Once again, this team is getting surprised, and the Zipu is going to pop them off. And look at that, a beautiful change of pace in the game. But at the same moment, it's Team HOTSHOT who is actually going to come back. But if we talk about Team Mafia's delete skill, that's 35 to be precise, an amazing instance.
Well, I totally agree. This could be really very much challenging and very much difficult for the team. But right now, looking at the current condition, it almost looks like 7 to 8 players are standing, and there could be some technical glitches around. And I don't think this could be a lot challenging for the teams and players. On to the other end, Pakwan having those height advantages, and as I told earlier, well, Kalahari is all about those height advantages and those ridges. I think this could be really very favorable for the teams and really very favorable for the players as well. 30 players are standing around. One finish spot has been already secured by Pakwan, Ultmok, Kasim, Evos, and Pahadi. Well, this team, I think they're getting a good head start to move on with, and I believe this could be really very challenging for the team to move on. And there you go, some amazing shots have been taken down. Old Monk onto the other end. Well, finally, a perfect knock, if I'm not wrong, was given, and will he go for that pick?
Knockouts are here. That's lovely to be precise. A lot of teams are still surviving. Well, that's the beauty of Kalahari. As a map, you actually get a lot of chances to bring back your teammates. As a map, you actually get a lot of insight because of you having the higher edges in your favor. If we talk about Emoji Elite, every now and then the approach is pretty much similar from the corner. M249 is also sitting in the back end so that they can use it for the rampage of the fights which are going to be there. But the dropship is coming, and the drop might be actually coming up, or some other player are actually going to get respawned. But let's see what happens. The Z board is showing us that the Mafia is out of equation. Team World Battle is out of equation. Both of the consistent one are out of equation. And now RRQ and BTR, which were not even available in the lobby, are actually at the bottom of the list. Meanwhile, DADAGANG having only 2-man power, TSG having only 2-man power, but E-Arena, look at their finishes, 10 to be precise. NIGMA Galaxy, 9 from the corner.
Of course, NIGMA Galaxy are having 9 finishes point, which is a pretty good start to be maintained out. And of course, this could be really very challenging for the team when you have 9 finishes point. This is a good start, and yet almost 50% of the match is remaining out. And how will you tackle those situations when you have a good start to be? Well, can they maximize those finishes point, or they will be maximizing those plays point? If they get a good boya with those 10 plus finishes point, I think they will be totally leading the game of this particular match, and it could also affect a lot in the overall standings. But right now 6 kills has been secured by EA Shut Up, and it's been a dominator for the team and for the offense as well, and some amazing shots are still taken down by Old Monk, but I don't think this will make a good connection out of it.
For now, in order to have the points, they have to be pretty much decisive of the facts of their shots. Ye Shutwa is actually having 6 amazing finishes, and he's the dominator for this particular matchup, and it's looking quite well that the way EA is able to perform. But for now, OG Elite has to actually pop out some blood. They have to gain the points. And if we talk about the region, look at that. Refinery is now getting shifted outside the particular play zone, so they have to just claim the position. But E-Arena is now getting shattered. Look at that. A lot of shots are getting appointed, and this is absolutely looking quite lovely. And a few another amazing shots are from the corner. Lovely, to be precise. But then now they are failing to connect those shots. Another beautiful damage, another beautiful knockout. This seems quite lovely from the back foot. Another knockout. E-Arena to be precise, seems like that they are actually going to get finished off quite early. There is nobody who is actually going to stop them, to be precise. Apart from that, what Team OG can do is just be a little bit more on the back foot. Another beautiful takedown. That's amazing. Pahadi is just so decent while he's sniping.
Of course, he's very decent, and he's very smart enough. Tackling his own disadvantage at this point of the time could be really very struggling and challenging for the team. Right now, if you look at the current condition, 24 players are standing around, and 2 finishing point has already been secured by the teams and by the players. But Old Monk, Asin Evos, Pahadi, all of them are 3 men standing with a decent finish point. And let's see how will they move on. What will be the scenarios? What will be the momentum? I don't think they can move with that same approach, but when it those things, if you look at Team EA, they've already got 13 finishes point, and the Lone Ranger, the last player surviving for the team, the whole responsibility, I believe, is onto his shoulder.
Trying to gain the points. Pahadi is here in the close quarters, but Pahadi has to remember that the fights are going to be a little bit more decisive. Arena, meanwhile, has been eliminated. Oh man, amazing shot, amazing takedowns. Team OG's Pahadi is also looking quite well. Now he's again going to use the shade door so that they can jump a little bit more inside the particular play zone. And look at that, the jump is here. Pahadi is actually going to be here. The glue walls have been appointed, which is not that favorable, to be precise, but then again it is there. And the arm is in the hands now. Let's see how he's actually going to connect those shots. RRQ Blade meanwhile manages to eliminate one guy from TFG Army.
And of course, if we look at the positioning, if we look at the holding, total 18 players are standing around, and particularly talking about Team NIGMA Galaxy, well, they're also 4 men standing. And if we look at those finishes point, NIGMA Galaxy has got those 2 finishes point, as we can see here. But right now in the death board, it's 10 finishes point. So yes, it's little disclarifying to move on with. But do you stop a Figod and Kapoom M69? Some artificial covers have been created, and there you go, Vizgod and Kapoom and Molotov have taken down Stop, and you are the last 2 players standing. Figod living in a great trouble. I don't think this revival will be possible at this particular time. An instant revival here, it's very difficult to move on, but it's 11 finishes point by NIGMA Galaxy, and a perfect source of domination could be seen.
For now, DRANIX Esports is also looking quite well in terms of their performance. They are trying their level best to delegate fights. Mal is actually on the back foot. Pew is there. Rambot is also going to be there. But honestly speaking, if I talk about guys like Bhagwan and Old Monk coming from Team OG's corner, now they have started to pop out. And this is the best time to actually get the blows. If I talk about Dew, his HP is looking good enough. But the location where he was surviving is not that decent. He can easily be popped off. He can easily be taken down. So let's see how far his taking down is actually going to be there. How far his initiation, to be precise, is actually going to help him out. But Dew, well, he's very close to the enemy territory. He's deep down, he's neck deep in the enemy territory, and that can actually eliminate him anytime soon. But he's actually going to go down in this beautiful tent or shack like area. He's going to survive here for now. but he has to push forward as well. Does he have got the grappling hook guns or not? That is the biggest question for now. But eventually the guns that this guy is trying to use is double sniper, which is amazing. But his help will be there or not? That is a big question. For now, seems like that duo is actually going to be a little bit more outside the play zone.
Of course, so they're around those places regions, and if you look at the alive players, it's almost 13 alive players, and if you look at the teams, well, 4 teams are surviving. Team Nigma Galaxy, if I'm not wrong, the last player, the Lone Ranger, is still surviving out. The whole responsibilities onto his shoulder. Let's see how will he move on or how will it perform out. But some amazing glue walls have been created out, and they're trying to get inside the zone. Let's see will he be able to get inside the zone and get those position. Right now, DRANIX, OG, RHK, all of them are 4 men standing, and this is particularly a 4v4v4 scenario. Let's see which team will get that booyah, and I don't think those man advantage is going to be easy for any one of the team.
In order to get as many S points as possible, what you have to do is claim the right position. From that right position, what you have to do is just go for the vigilance and maybe attack everybody who is just trying to come in a close quarter. That's what these guys are trying to do at this point. OG Elite in front of DRANIX Esports. It's looking quite well, the way the performance is coming up, but let's see what the performance is all about. OG Elite has already got 8 amazing bags. Nigma Galaxy started off quite well, but eventually the end was a little bit more on the shaky corner. For now, Evo has managed to back out on the beautiful knockout, but he has also been taken down. That shows the knockouts are once again getting followed up. Babri back and forth, the knockouts are coming up. So just let's see what happens. DRANIX Esports, only 1 member standing from the corner. And for Team OG, the revival is already here. It seems like that OG Elite will be able to get this booyah and get over.
It's very much difficult for that solo player. We look at Team DRANIX, so they have got 7 finishers point, and the solo players are still standing out. But finally, the booyah is secured by, if I'm not wrong, it's Team OG Raider. Well, I believe OG has performed really very well in this particular match, and I believe for the upcoming times this could be really very challenging for the other teams, because how they have moved on in this game, this could get a good position and have a landing position in the points table as well. Let's see at which position they will land in the points table.
Well, indeed, at the end of the day, it's all about the points table. If you have got the great aspect of the points table in your favor, what more can you ask? So looking quite decent, looking quite confident coming from OG's corner. For the start, they were a little bit more on the shaky corner, but eventually in the last, the way they were able to back out, or should I say scoop out, every single point was absolutely amazing. But then again, this is just the start of this day particularly. 3 matches have been passed, 3 more matches to go, and then we'll get to know who is actually going to be the champion for the day, who is actually going to be the team which is going to be on top. Apart from that, for now, everything looks calm and composed from these teams. They're ready. They are pretty much decisive about the fact that they want to fight back. And upcoming stages can be critical. Upcoming stages can be a little bit more shaky. But still, I believe the impact is going to be there for sure.
Well, there are 3 more matches remaining out, and if we talk about those 3 matches, that will be of again Bermuda, Pogotari, and Kalahari. It's going to be very much difficult for the teams and players as well to move on with. But similarly, looking at the by default map Bermuda, which is the 4th match, it's going to be really very challenging for the teams to take on. I believe as it is the by default map, for few teams it will be very known to. For few teams as it is known, I think this could be really troubling.
Well, coming back to the same map that we played for the first match is actually going to be a little bit more on the shaky corner. If the teams have actually evolved a bit, I believe that evolution could help them quite a bit. And if the evolution is not there, if they have still not learned what they did wrong in the last matches, it can be quite a difficult aspect of this particular fight. They can easily go down to the drain. So looking into that factor as well, trying to just decipher what will happen, how the fights will develop, and is it going to be a same consistent approach or not, is actually going to be the biggest question. For now, Asia Invitational Series Season 2 is looking good, because 4 matches, 4 days to be precise, of the planes are about to go down to the rain, and eventually we still have not got our top 9 teams. I mean, 2 more days to be precise after this one is actually going to give us the top 9 teams which will be getting qualified. But for now, the competition is surreal. Fights are looking on point. This shows that the competition is just evolving day by day. And meanwhile, if I talk about the whole schedule, remember guys, 18 teams from the particular playing stages will be invited, and that's what the invitation is all about. After that, they will play in the round robin method, as you said, as you were looking at it, that the round robin whole sequence of the round robin is actually being utilized, where 6-day phase, 6 matches per day is actually going to be there. Only the top 9 teams will be getting qualified for the grand finals. Schedule was pretty much similar. We started on the 10th Jan. We had a break on 11th. and after that we were actually able to have a break on 14th as well. But that match which was supposed to happen on the 14th Jan is being shifted on 16th Jan, if I'm not wrong. That is usually a holiday because of the day Monday, but eventually I guess the matches are going to be there for sure. We'll talk about that schedule as well whenever the schedule comes in. But apart from that, the grand finals, it is going to be crystal clear. Only the top 9 teams from the playing stage will move forward. Two will be the underdog one will be the fan favorite team. For 3 days, for 7 straight matches per day, these 12 teams to be precise are going to take up a fight.
Well, of course, as you mentioned, the dual teams would love to take the fight and as the grand final because they own the legacy. But right now, talking about the current phase, well, this is the day 4 and this is the match 3. Almost 50% of the event is over and 50% of the particular day is almost looking completed. Yet there are 3 matches remaining, which is of Bermuda, Purgatory, and Kalahari. But keeping those things aside, I would also love to see the upcoming, points table of this particular match and overall standings, that which team is landing where and how Team OG has got a good jump in overall standings as well. I don't think it's going to be easy for Team DRANIX as well, because if all of the teams are performing good, they could tackle DRANIX as well and Team NIGMA Galaxy as well in the overall standings. But yes, if they get those finishes point, if they get those, a place point similarly in every continuous matches, I believe the consistency will be maintained. But before that, I would also love to, request the audience to please go to hit that like button, guys, subscribe the channel, share the stream with your friends, with your mates, and do show your support, because it becomes very much important for each of us, for the production, for the casters, and for the organization as well, that the support gives us a lot of moral support. Apart keeping those things back in the hand, well, Nigma Galaxy, they were totally phenomenal to move on with, and finally Team OG got a pretty good booyah. Let's see, will in the upcoming matches they could maintain the consistency, because after day 2 we haven't seen Team OG Elite performing. So yes, if they got this particular match into their hands, there are chances that they could get some more matches in the future as well.
Indeed, guys. If you actually like, share, and support, I believe this kind of events are going to be there. And for now, this is the invitational season. What if an open tournament will actually come in, and guys will be able to register for it, and eventually we will get to see how far the competition will go on in that particular series as well. So actually support the stream, actually support the Loco as well, because that is the broadcasting partner. Meanwhile, make sure to support the Lidoma Asia page on Instagram as well, so that you can actually know everything before us. Even I believe the updates are actually going to be there for you guys on Instagram before any other platform, be it Discord, be it the YouTube channel or the Loco page. The first of all update is actually going to be on Instagram, so go for it, follow the Instagram handle. And I believe very soon the voting for the fan favorite team is also going to get opened up on Instagram as well. So following the Lidoma page will give you an upper hand. You can easily first of all go ahead and share. But at the end of the day, if your team, whichever you are supporting, is actually going to become the fan favorite team, what they are going to get is a beautiful slot in the in the grand finals. And why do you think grand finals is very important? Let me remind you, this is the Asia Invitational Series, where your favorite team could actually represent your region, whether you are from Indonesia or from Pakistan or from Nepal or Bangladesh or Philippines or even Thailand or even India. Your favorite team could be coming from every single region, and you can easily support them. You can actually push them. Their performance will push them first of all from the top 18 teams to top 9. And apart from that, when your team is unable to, somehow yeah, they're unable to, like if I talk about BTR, Delta, or RRQ KAZU, now they're unable to join the tournament due to some technical difficulties or whatever the reason is. What you can do is actually, if you want to see RRQ KAZU or BTR Delta, go ahead and vote for them, and if the voting will be there, and if they are able to just come back in this particular arena, it would be absolutely amazing. And the grand finals is also very important because there is a prize pool of $1,000, which is not a small chunk of money, because the first position will get you $500, the second one will get you $250, third one $150, and the fourth one $50 as well. But if I talk about the MVP, $50 again from that particular perspective.
Well, of course, you have a bigger price pool to be maintained off, and if you talk about the positioning, if we talk about the holdings, well, each team will get a chance. No team will go with those loose hand. Each team will get something or other. But talking about the other teams who will not qualify this particular event for the grand finals, they still have a chance. Later, I believe there are still 12 to 3 and almost 15 matches remaining out. It could be really very struggling. It could be really very challenging for the team, and I believe for a longer period of time, I don't think this is possible for the teams, and this is possible for the players. But let's see how will the in the upcoming stages teams will perform out, what will be their scenarios or what will be the momentum. But in the current stage, there are 3 more matches remaining, and very soon we'll also see the points table and the next map of Bermuda again.
Definitely have to look into that factor as well. For now, you can see that the leaderboard is here right now, and you can see that the leaderboard is going to be quite impactful. Arena Esports is there with 42 points, but the team which is on top is going to be OG Elite. After playing 3 good matches, what they have actually got is going to be 45 points. That is absolutely amazing. DRANIX Esports is having 41 points. RRQ Official is having 38. NIGMA Galaxy 36. Team World of Battle Esports with 31 points. The Mafias 28 points. TSG Army with another set of amazing 24 points. DADAGANG with 23 points, HOTSHOT Esports with 17, BTR Delta 0, and RRQ KAZU as well 0 points from their corner. So these are the two teams which are failing to get anything out of this particular day. But then again, if we talk about teams like OG Elite, they were on the bottom, but after playing 3 good matches, after having a beautiful booyah, well, they are back on the chart.
Well, of course, they're totally back on the chart, and currently looking at the points table, the competition could be totally been seen. A neck-to-neck competition is being delivered out. If you look at OG Elite, they're having 45 points, and at the second position it's Arena Esports. They're having 42 and 41, and then 38, 36. The difference is almost of 1, 2, or 3 between the teams, between the players as well in the MVP list as well. So yes, I believe the competition is tough. We'll enjoy a lot. The source of entertainment will be mentioned a lot. In the upcoming stages, it will be difficult for Team RRQ KAZU, Tata Gaming, TSG, Army, Mafias, TWOB Esports, because they're landing very down the ground in the table, and I totally agree to get those above position. They need to very much consistent enough in the upcoming days as well as in the upcoming matches. Particularly talking about this day, if you get a comeback today, you have a chance, to get landed up in top 5 position tomorrow and day after tomorrow. But if you, don't get a tougher task today, then I'll think for day after tomorrow, it will be very challenging for all of the players and teammates who are landing behind.
Well, now if we talk about the event overview as well, you saw that we were talking about it quite previously. That the playing stage was of 18 teams, 6 days, and the method was round robin, 6 matches every day to be precise. And apart from that, if we talk about the grand finals, well, 3 days is actually going to be the grand finals, and top 9 teams will advance for the grand finals. But remember, the only one which is actually going to be on top is going to become the first Asia champion to be precise. Prize pool distribution is also quite well. $500 to be precise for the winner. The runner-up is actually going to get $250, and if we talk about the third position, I guess that is going to get $150, and the fourth one will get $50. And along with that, the MVP also is actually going to get another beautiful $50.
Yes, bigger prize pool has been witnessed out. It's almost a 1,000 US dollar, which is a very big prize pool, and each team landing on top 3 position, most valuable player and favorite team of the audience will get something or the other, something or the prize pool into their hands. So yes, I believe this is the good overall distribution of the prize pool. But as this is the Asia Invitational Series we mentioned earlier, we gonna witness one of the best teams of Asia as of different regions. If we talk about Philippines, Indonesia, Pakistan, Nepal, or India as well. So yeah, we could witness the best team. But I'm pretty much waited to see that which teams will be qualifying in the grand finals, because this could be very much challenging as few teams are landing down the ground from the starting itself. If they didn't perform today also, I believe the tomorrow day will be a do or die scenario for the particular teams.
Indeed, tomorrow's day is actually going to be quite hectic for them, because then the pressure will be immense. Then the pressure will be evolving day by day, and eventually, after day after tomorrow, I believe will be the judgment day, where it will actually come up as a decision at which are the teams which is going to just move forward, and which are the teams which are going to stay here right now. And Rashni Dingla is actually saying start the match. Well, we have to wait, and eventually whenever the team is ready, then we'll start. Production team is also waiting for the teams to get ready, and then eventually the match will be getting started. It's not
Yep.
us who are stopping the match, it's not us who are we're just holding up the match and stuff like that. We also want to see the match to get started. We also want to see the chaos to get started. Risham Pant and Piyush, Eagle, everybody who is actually here on the live chat, well, we are also very excited for the matches for the day. But eventually it's the team who are making us wait for now. So whenever the teams are ready, we'll get into it. But before that, let's talk about the MVP. Nigma Galaxy's Dew is there with total 45 eliminations. DRANIX's Mal is there on the second page, on the second start, on the second position with 35 elimination of his own. And if we talk about Team Mafia, Zillit, he's the third man who is actually having the highest amount of points in the favor in terms of the fragging power.
Well, particularly if we look at the difference between the finishers point, it looks like a 10 finishers point difference between Nigma Galaxy TU and DRANIX Mal. I believe this could be really very challenging for both of the players. That how will cover up the leads. For DRANIX Mal, he need to cover up the lead, and from TU he need to maintain the same lead. I don't think There's going to be that much easy for any one particular team or any one particular player. But right now, very soon we'll be witnessing the match. But before that, if you haven't liked the stream, guys, please do like the stream, subscribe the channel. And as we can see, the audience is going very lethal. They are saying to start the match. So I'll request each and everyone very soon. We'll be getting the fourth match of the day, which is of Bermuda, and it's just because teams aren't joining the lobby. They're taking some time. They're taking a few minutes break. Warming their hands, and they'll come back with a good comeback, especially your favorite teams. So those who are that at down the tables, I think they could get a comeback after a short break.
I mean, indeed, I believe everybody wants to just show, or should I say, see their favorite teams performing exceptionally well. In order to do so, well, they have to do small shifts, or should I say, small changes could be there from their roster, or some other changes could be there from the corner. So that's what we are actually waiting for. But Delete is absolutely on point, no doubt in that. And Sunita is like, we won't like the stream. Why is that issue? Why is that an issue, to be precise? That you are not going to like this stream and stuff like that. Is there any issue? Just tell us about that. We'll look into it. We'll try to actually rectify it. And if you want to see the lobby getting started, well, it's not in our hand. It's in the hands of players. The room ID pass is already circulated. But whenever they are going to join, whenever everything is actually going to be certified, the ping issues or any other issues that is actually going to be there in the game are going to get resolved. In order to give a fair competition to the players as well, we want that everybody or everything should be perfect. Then only the match will be getting started, because we don't want to stop it in the midway. What if assume that the match will go on for 5 or 10 minutes, and after that the ping issue will rise and some other technical difficulties might actually come in, and then we rehost the room again? You are actually going to be agitated about the fact. So please be patient, and look at that, your patience is going to pay off. And finally we are back in the Bermuda, at the flight path is starting from the Yard region to the particular Bhima Shakti strip, where for sure I believe the team known as OG Elite is actually going to jump in. Apart from TSG, to be precise, is going to jump in. Apart from that, if we talk about Mars Electric, that is going to be the last position along with Puchinok, where the teams might actually jump in. So let's see how far the situation is going to help them, where the people are going to jump in. For now, if we talk about Team Mafias, they are jumping close to Puchinok, or Mars Electric could be another position where they're going to jump in.
Well, particularly talking about the game, this is the map of Bermuda, and the flight path was pretty decent to move on with. But the skateboard launcher, I believe, this will help them a lot to get a bigger jump and get those finishes point right now. And looking at Elite, well, he doesn't want anything else apart from loot. He wants a good loot, and then he'll go for those finishes point, because he's quite aggressive enough and lethal in terms of loot. Right now, if we look at this particular team, Team Mafias, well, they are 4 men standing. The intensity of the lobby looks like 39 players in the particular lobby. And if we talk about other players, Gujar, Mafia, Delete, well, all of them are 4 men standing. So yes, a good start has been maintained of a pretty good, suspense which was created is now over. And guys, I hope the match is started and you can enjoy the match. So now you guys can, like the stream, subscribe the channel and share the stream. But if we talk about Mafia Bala, he's having a pretty good loot, and right now more focused on loot.
Indeed, the focus is actually going to be on loot, because every now and then you see that the loss of loot, or should I say, the diminishing of that loot, is actually going to be quite critical for these guys. When you want to survive, what you have to have is the right amount of loot in your favor. So that's what these guys are trying to go for. Vidit Gujar on the back end is actually having a good gun. Oh, a knockout came in. That was absolutely amazing, to be precise. This is the kind of strategy we wanted to see from this particular team. But Team Mafias, although they start well, they are actually getting diminished quite a bit in the next upcoming stages. So looking forward to see how far they will go, what kind of initiation they are actually going to get built, and how these initiations are going to help them is going to be another big question for me. So for now, seems like that the positioning of Team Mafia is looking good. But Team Mafia's Mafia, if I talk about this guy particularly, the shots are coming up. He's trying his level best to just learn out where the enemy is all about, and then he might actually go all aggressive on him.
Well, particularly looking at the current situation, the intensity of the lobby is very high. The game is heating up, and as this is the third last match, I believe after this match, the do and die scenario will be developed out for the teams at those lower stages. It would be very much difficult for them to tackle down those things. But right now, I'll request them to get those aggression on point. But right now, I don't think it's going to be that great. Mafia Bala and Gujar has been taken down. Last place, just 2 players standing. It's Mafia and Delete. Well, they are standing around. If a glue wall could be created, this would be very beneficiary enough. But looking at Delete, well, the instant revival has been put off, and 1 finish point without losing any one of the player. I think this is a good positive start to be chased on.
Indeed, the start is there for sure, and that's looking quite well. Graveyard is going to be another beautiful area where the Vice are actually going to be there. They've got Pro TAT from Team EA Esports. I believe E Arena Esports is changing some players of their own. So this is actually going to be a critical change from the corner. Let's see what kind of change is actually going to be there and what that change is going to help them to do. For TSG, the launcher is being used. They are trying to attain some good shots, and yes, the shots are getting connected. The damage is there. Another beautiful frost, I believe, nade is actually going to be there. But let's see what that nade is going to do. What kind of impact that nade particularly is going to do to be precise. But if we talk about Black and Senior, these guys are very good in terms of the attacking formation that they actually are able to dish out. But that the elimination is already here. 34 players are surviving in the lobby, and these 34 players are trying their level well to be exceptionally well. And the performance is something which is going to be impacted very soon. But for now, would love to add on that Black 27, Senior 29, Valia, Shinu. These are the four-man player. These are the four-man giant of the team, which are trying their level best to prove quite a credential game in their favor. But let's see how far the credentials are going to get appointed, how far the points are going to be there in their favor. 33 players to be precise are surviving. Bermuda is the map, the fourth one to be precise for the day, and a lovely initiation is actually going to be there. And already the start is there. Everybody who's on the stream is was actually just waiting for this match to get started, but eventually you can see that the match has been started, fights have been ignited, and what we can witness is the kind of chaos which might actually come in very soon. But for now, TSG is just waiting, trying to have as much as loot as possible, and when the loot will be over, when the loot will be there from their corner, I believe then they will be able to give us a strong fight.
Well, I totally agree. They'll give a strong bite to move on with. But right now, 33 players are standing out, Reader. And looking at Team WOB, well, they're also four-man standing. They haven't got any finish point, or they haven't got, any upstandings or any head start to take on with. But onto the other end, E Arena, well, they have been eliminated from this particular match. So some amazing shots have been developed out, some amazing shots have been chased on. And there you go, some amazing rocket launchers also onto the roll. But WOB, well, this is a great team to chase on with. This is a great aggressive team to move on with. Some amazing loots have been witnessed out. 30 players are surviving out, and insane. The name totally justified. The player is totally coming with an insane performance. But right now, moving with that weapons, I think getting the areas houses and areas of homes. So I think this is a good move. But there you go, Team RHK again. They have been got eliminated around those top 10 teams or top 11 teams, and this is very difficult for any one of the team. I don't think now Team RHK have any chance if they play good matches in the last two games. I totally agree they could have a comeback, but apart from that, if they don't show a good comeback in the last two matches, I believe this could be really very challenging for the teams and players. Right now, Insane is still moving on, he's still tackling down,
trying to battle around. He has got the UMP, he has got the Woodpecker as well. Both of those guns are pretty much good in terms of their utilities, but when it comes to Sasuke, he has got M1014 along with the M249, if I'm not wrong. The gun combination also matters quite a bit. If you have the right gun combination, it will help you a lot till the end. To be precise, that help is actually going to come in. MP40 is actually coming from the hands of Sasuke Bhai. If I talk about Psycho Love with the AK, the other gun is actually going to be there. If I talk about Enigma Galaxy, M1014 is there in the hands, Pan is there in the hand, and apart from that, I believe it could be, if I'm not wrong, MP50, MP40 or some other gun. If I'm wrong, guys, please let me know that what the right call out for this gun is all about. But Enigma Galaxy Stop is for sure going to go ahead and recall his teammates. This could actually help him a lot, but this could be the moment. If he gets backstab, everything will go down to the drain for this team.
If there's a backstab, I totally agree. This could be really very challenging and really very difficult for the teams and players as well. Let's see how will they move on. Let's see how will they take on things and what will be their holdings to chase on. But on the other end, looking at the team TM, they are two men standing with those 4 finishes point, and team HS, well, they are also 7. They are also 4 men standing with those 7 finishes points. So yes, there are multiple fights could be witnessed, and there you go, Old Monk, Asanevos, as well as Pahadi. Well, all of the 3 has been taken down. Bhagwan now being that Lone Ranger, the savior for the team. Well, let's see will he able to deliver that. What is expected from him towards the team? I don't think it's going to be that easy, but yes, some amazing glue walls have been created, and longest kill, well, it's of totally 607 meters.
OG. They are looking quite shaky at this point. Bhagwan becomes the last man standing. He's the last man standing at this point. What he wants to do is fall back, but eventually the glue walls are not going to cut the deal. The shots are still coming up. His survival is just going to be minutely on the back foot. Seems like that he's going to go down very soon, and exactly that's what is happening. Bhagwan, look at his HP, not even visible at this point, but what he wants to do is just go ahead in that trend so that he might survive a bit more. but he has to travel a long way. He has got his skates, he's got his way. Just fall back from the situation. It might help him a lot. And yes, eventually it is going to cut the deal. It is actually going to help him a lot to just bail back from the situation. That's a great approach coming from Bhagwan's corner. And with this, he might survive for another beautiful fight. I mean, at the end, that's all everybody wants to see. And Bhagwan and his teammates survive. OG Elite, that is the team which is actually on the top. And they are still trying their level best to struggle around and eventually maybe survive. If we talk about HOTSHOT, KAZU EX was able to just take down one more member of the lobby. That's amazing. Recall Tower is actually out of the zone. He can actually go for that. I don't know if he has got the shop tokens or not. And eventually if he has got the shop tokens, he can easily revive his teammates with the vending machine as well.
I totally agree that he could revive his teammate with the vending machine, but right now, looking at the current condition, 28 players are standing around. One finisher has been already secured by Mafia Bala, and a pretty good start has been maintained off. The map of Bermuda is always a table turning match to be taken on, but I believe this is a by default map, so players are very intentive enough to take on those things. But right now, looking at this team Mafias, well, they have got one finish point and a good start, but there comes the zone shrink, and if it's possible, they should get inside the zone as early as possible, because taking the damage of zone, I don't think it's totally worth it for right now. And let's see, melee weapons in the hand right now, talking about Mafia Bala, but if beneath those things, DRANIX again at those early phase elimination. Apart from the first match, DRANIX are unable to deliver that same consistent performance in the particular day.
It's quite worthwhile to see the way these actions and these attachments are actually working out for these guys. They're looking forward to it, how far this will help them, how far of an advantage they are actually going to get built. They're going to actually build. So to be honest, at this point, if I talk about teams like DRANIX, Esports, RRQ and EA, these are the three teams which were eliminated quite early, and RRQ out of them along with EA were the only two teams which are able to get only a single point in their favor. It shows that how far, even if you are consistent, things can go down from your corner. And for now, World of Battle is having 3 frags, Team MAFIAS is having 8, and HOTSHOT is having 11. Well, that's a huge one to be precise. HOTSHOT, the way they are coming back in the lobby is exceptionally well. I just hope that HOTSHOT will be able to back out this booyah. If they are able to do so, that Pakistani team is going to be a little bit more happy about their factors, about their fights, because the way their performance is going on, it seems like that on the leaderboard, they might be getting eliminated soon. In the particular grand finals, we might not see them. If a 1 or 2 booyah comes in from the corner, the situation might actually ease off a bit.
Well, of course, particularly if we look at the zone formation, well, that is living very crucial to take on with. It's totally shifted towards those northeastern parts of the region. Let's see how will they take on those holdings. If we look at peak regions, well, it's the highest peak. And I think the name totally justifies the areas, and having those height advantage right now currently will give a lot of, troubles to teammates and players as well. But looking at the TET both, almost 7 to 8 players are standing around. Team HOTSHOT, well, that team has got those 12 finishes point into the favor. Talking about Team Mafia as well, they have also got 4 finishes point, and on to the other end, talking about Team OG, well, they are leading behind with those 2 finishes point. And well, each and every team having man advantage except Team NIGMA Galaxy. They are solo players standing for the team. Let's see how will he take on those scenarios up to the win battle.
The matter of this particular fight is all about having the advantages. So right now, I believe Team HOTSHOT is once again trying to be aggressive. Look at that. Team HOTSHOT is having some good eliminations from the corner. 23 team players are surviving. Team DADAGANG is actually trying to rotate from the Beamer sector strip where Team TSG loves to fight from. But TSG, where they are, well, they are having the 4-man advantage, but I believe they are actually going to be a little bit more on the center arena, or maybe in some kind of compounds from which they can actually fight back even stronger. For now, DADAGANG is just pretty much prone. They have to be in the zone, and they're just trying to reside on the edges of the zone. That is actually going to be quite lovely. They're trying to play with the ridges. It might actually help them, or it might actually be it might actually create a situation where they're actually going to get caught off guarded. What happens, we'll get to see very soon. But look at that, Union have got 5 amazing frags. That's absolutely amazing. With his woodpecker, he's just so chaotic that nobody is able to stand in front of him, and an absolute domination, to be precise, is coming from his corner. If I talk about Pahadi as a guy, well, look at that, the space 12 has been summoned, but no, it was not helpful for this guy. Famas was actually there in the backpack. I think he should have actually gone for that particular gun, but now OG Elite is actually on the back foot. Last man standing is actually going to be Asenivos. He's also waiting for the right time period. Let's see what kind of gun he's actually having and what kind of approach he's actually going to receive is actually going to be very important. NIGMA Galaxy on the other corner also gets eliminated along with an M416. What he has got on the hands could be Charge Buster or some other gun. The Mafias on the other corner is having the 4-man advantage, but they are trying to push forward. Beyond the broken walls, they might actually survive. Beyond those beautiful boundaries of the particular compounds, they might actually survive. But apart from that, first of all, what they have to do is just repass the houses, repass their utilities, Mafia on the other corner gets taken down. But
Oh.
look at that, another beautiful takedown. It's Gujar who has been taken down. With that, the pressure is on. The Mafias is on the very shaky corner.
And the Mafias looking in danger, and finally there you go. The TWOB is totally looking in action, getting some back-to-back throwables and weapons onto point. And I totally agree that they could win this fight, particularly Mafia now being that solo player standing for the team. Let's say really able to deliver those things. But right now some amazing glue walls have been created out. Shot talking about Shanti is having the pan in his hand. I think this is the time, this is the a region where you should be very much attentive on. But there you go, some amazing sprays have been taken down. Mafia left in a very big struggle to chase on with. He's having glue balls for a period of time, but right now I think those heal battles will not work for a longer period of time. The zone shrink is taking place and you should be very attentive enough.
Attentive yet strategic. That is going to be the main call out for these guys. For now, Team Mafias have also been eliminated. Team with the 4-man power is already out of equation. This shows that even if you have got the right advantage, even if you have got the right call out, things can lead quite dramatically for you, and that's what is happening. You can already see that the exchange of the blows are here. Meanwhile, what they have to do is actually push forward and actually try their level best to survive and to get as many as close as possible. But meanwhile, at the time, I believe the verdict of this fight is going to come very soon. Only 11 players surviving. World of Battle looking good, looking decent. They've got the man advantage, but when it comes to Shanti, he's out of equation. Sasuke Bhai out of equation. Itachi also out of equation. Now it's all about Insane. He's the last man standing. What he wants to do is go a little bit on the left corner so that he can actually survive from that corner. But low, the knockout comes in. He's going to self-res himself. That's amazing. The self-revival injection was there, but still the zone damage was way too high. And he was also finished off with that particularly. Meanwhile, HOTSHOT is there with an amazing set of blows to be precise. HOTSHOT is looking way confident. Look at the way more confident. 17 packs is already there. They're about to just, let's say, completely take down the team known as DADAGANG. And after that, I believe TSG, another team which is going to be on their crosshairs.
Of course, TSG going to be the team which is on to their crosshairs, but right now, well, I believe TSG they have also been eliminated. HOTSHOT, Superman under the both side of the screen. I think they're totally in front of each other, but right now not confident enough to take the fight at this particular time. Let's see how will they take on her or how will they deal on this particular game. But some amazing shots have been taken on. Blue walls have been break down, and there you go. Let's look at HOTSHOT 18 and some hot shots. The name totally justified after the first knock of the game is of the particular HOTSHOT 18 has been taken down. But similarly, if you look at the safe zone shrink, it's coming on. Only 5 to 4 seconds remaining on, and there you go. Some amazing picks have been picked off. Talking about King Azad, Mr. Dev, well, he's also beating. He's also moving phenomenally. HOTSHOT 18 and getting those jump shots onto the right point, and I don't think this will be workable. Team HOTSHOT will lose out the particular game.
They tried their level best, but eventually at the last, things were not that comfortable for the team. Things were not that favorable for the team, but would love to add on that HOTSHOT was absolutely chaotic. Although it was not the match where HOTSHOT was able to get the booyah, but indeed the fight was on point. Indeed, the amount of kill points is going to put them a lot in the particular leaderboard. So looking forward to it, what kind of impact the leaderboard is actually going to bring in. At this moment, I'm actually enjoying the way HOTSHOT and other teams are actually performing. DADAGANG, meanwhile, finally gets there, a beautiful booyah that they were waiting for from the past 3 days. And after a lot of matches that went down wrong for this particular team, they are back. They are proving themselves quite worthwhile. And with that, I believe a beautiful booyah and some beautiful points from their perspective is actually going to be here. For sure, in the overall standing, DADAGANG is still going to be on the bottom, on the backside of HOTSHOT to be precise, because HOTSHOT is the team which was able to get close to 18 or 19 frags from their corner. That is just the kill points. I'm not even talking about the total particular position points also accumulated with it. That shows that how far consistency was there from Team HOTSHOT's corner. They were aggressive, they were quite decisive, although at the last they were just unable to wrap up the particular match in their favor. Although if it would have been possible, things would have been a little bit more critical. That means close to somewhere around 26-27 points is what team known as DADAGANG, team known as HOTSHOT is going to get from Pakistani region. But DADAGANG, the Nepali team, also did a commendable job.
Well, of course, they played very phenomenally to move on with, and I believe from the past 4 days we are witnessing the team in this the first booyah of DADAGANG, and they haven't got a single booyah yet. But yes, this was the perfect game to watch out right now. Looking at the current condition, well, this is the two-man standing team. at last soon. But Team DRANIX, I'm really very shocked and really very surprised to see this particular team after their first match. They're totally, getting ruled out of the particular matches. If you talk about any map, if you talk about the Bermuda, Purgatory, or Kalahari, in each and every match or in each and every different maps, they are being ruled out, which is not a good sign for this particular team, because at the end of day 3, they were having almost 189 points and having second position, and they were lagging behind. They were lagging with the first position with almost 6 points into their favor. So right now they need to buckle up the things. Right now they need to manage out the things and get those finishes point as fast as possible. And similarly, they should also get those consistency as well.
You said it rightly that they have to be consistent. They have to be pretty much ready for as many as points as possible that they can back out from this strategy, because very soon the fights will be over. Very soon the matches will be over. I mean, it's just like yesterday we started the particular invitational season number 2, but 3 days have been passed. 4 days already about to go down, because there's 2 more matches to be precise. One Purgatory and Kalahari is left. 4 matches for this day have been passed out, and after this day particularly, only 2 more days are actually going to be there. And as per the schedule, I don't know what kind of approach they are going to build, what kind of strategies they are actually going to have, because when it comes to the schedule, I believe Group B and C are going to take a fight, and Group A and C are going to take up a fight. That means Group C has got straight up 2 more days to perform. When it comes to Group A and B, they have already got only 1 more day after this particular day to perform and eventually showcase their talent. So Group C have a beautiful chance of giving the comeback. From Group C, I believe teams like SESL Fank is looking good enough, Dedro is looking good, Onyx Esports is looking good, hell, even Vibros is also looking quite good. So there is actually a huge amount of clash that might actually come from their corner particularly. But the team which is actually going to have not even a single match after tomorrow is going to be the teams like DRANIX, RRQ Official, HOTSHOT, TSG Army, RRQ KAZU, and NIGMA Galaxy, because tomorrow's day will wrap up their whole uh, 24 matches that were scheduled for them, to be precise. And out of those 24 matches, whatever kind of point they are actually going to have is going to remain from tomorrow onwards. They can't do anything. Tomorrow is the last day. Tomorrow's 6 matches are the last 6 matches, to be precise, when they can actually perform. So it's a very should I say, aggressive stance coming from these particular teams. And apart from that, if I talk about teams like, let's say, the MAFIAS, OG Elite, E Arena, BTR, Delta, Team World Battle, DADAGANG, they will still get a chance day after tomorrow. After performing for 2 more matches in this particular day, they will still get a chance day after tomorrow to come back even stronger, maybe learn some new strategies when they have the break of tomorrow's day. It could actually help them quite a bit in bumping up their performance, but we have to look into that factor as well, how far they will be able to go and push forward. For now, yes, exactly. The speculations are over. Now we are going to move forward in the overall standing of day number 4. OGLE still remains on top with 52 points, because the teams which are actually pretty much close to them were also eliminated quite early, like Team World Battle, if I talk about them, 47 points from the corner only. HOTSHOT from the corner particularly, look at that jump that they are actually going to have, not even having a single booyah, but still they are actually on top of quite a few teams which have got the booyah. To be precise, 3 teams which have got the booyahs are actually at the bottom of the list, and HOTSHOT is still on top of them. And E Arena also same goes for them, 44 points, not even a single booyah. DRANIX Esports 1 booyah and 44 points from the corner as well. The MAFIAS 1 booyah, 43 points from the corner. RRQ Official 0 booyahs, but still 41 points. DADAGANG, finally they have got the booyah, and they are lurking at #8. This shows that not only the booyah matters, but you have to have the consistency in every single match as well.
Well, of course, you should have those consistency apart from those booyahs. Whenever we talk about the consistency means you should have those, average placement, average finish point in each and every match. But as this was the end of a particular fourth match, which was of Bermuda, we'll be very soon moving towards the fifth match. But before that, we'll be loving to see those most valuable player and other statistics as well. But yeah, we'll see those things further. But right now, coming to the fifth match of the day, which is of Purgatory, the map of 3 islands, and there you go. The drop clashes has been started around those blue regions. I totally agree. This could be really challenging, because we could see 2 to 3 teams around those regions, and a lot of drop clash. If doesn't happens in the drop clash fight doesn't take place, I totally assure that this could be happening around those rotation clashes. Talking about the intensity of the lobby, the intensity of the lobby looks like 39 players are surviving out, and yes, this is just a start to be maintained off. And if this particular game doesn't get a good deliverable job for teams landing around those around the 6th to 10th position, I think this would be very much difficult for the players to come up again.
Well, Looking forward to it. Let's see how far they will be able to rise up and eventually get as many as points as possible. It seems like that the fight is actually going to be a little bit more on the reasonable corner, but I'm still excited, still stoked about the fact that the fights will be there, that the speculations are actually going to rise, that the connections are actually going to be somewhere on the back foot. So, what do you think about this particular fight, guys? Let us know that what kind of impact will be there, what kind of fights are actually going to be there. Mafia Ninja, and if we talk about the other guys from Team Mafia, they are just trying to push forward and have the greatest ever advantage that is possible from the corner, but eventually that advantage is also not going to come that easily. We all know that that impact is actually going to be quite risky. The fight's actually going to be a little bit more on the risky corner. Vidit Gujar is there. 38 people are actually there in the lobby. That means two teams have still failed to join, and it could be RRQ KAZU along with that particular BTR Delta, which is still failing to join from the past few days. But when it comes to the Mafia, the loot is actually going to be the main concern. You can already see all the teams are trying to focus on the loot, but our one and only beloved team, Mafia, is also pretty much focused on having the loots which is required. But if I talk about TSG Army, that's another beautiful team. Walia has been diminished, Walia has been taken down. That shows there were quite a few enemies in the close quarters.
Well, of course, there were few enemies around the close quarters, but letting around Team TSG, getting inside the game, it could be really very challenging because if you talk about Team TSG, well, the team from India, yet they haven't performed a good, they haven't delivered a good performance yet, but yes, they're still struggling around to get a good finishes point. And if they didn't perform at the end of today's match, I totally agree. Tomorrow's momentum would not be that confident enough, and tomorrow the game would be a do or die scenario for the teams having landing around those a lower position. But talking about Team WOB, Insane, Shanti, Hitachi, all of them, they are 3 men standing, having 1 man disadvantage from early phase from the lobby itself and looking towards Team DG. Well, Superman, DG Poo, King X, Mr. Dave, and Cyclo Love, Double X. Well, they are also 4 men standing, trying to hunt for loots, trying to hunt for advanced loot as well. But looking forward towards the live locations. Well, particularly we couldn't see some major drop clashes apart from if you look at Brasilia. Well, there's maybe some teams, but right now this is the 5th match, and yet the map of 3 islands. This could be a comeback for few teams landing down the table.
In order to have the points, what they have to do is pretty much read up the fight and eventually then go for the blows. So I'm actually excited to see how far they will be able to just incline and get the points in their favor. Meanwhile, on the back foot, Dew is just trying to perform exceptionally well. We have got Team NIGMA Galaxy. They're trying their best to just maneuver their vice and eventually go for as many as beautiful locations that's possible, to be honest. But the possibilities will rise very soon. Impacts will be there very soon. And if I talk about like areas like Forge, we have got Nima Galaxy along with Team OG Elite, so there could be a fight in the Forge region. If we talk about Brasilia, there is nobody except the DRANIX Esports, so they can easily loot up that particular place. When it comes to areas like Moot House and stuff like that, at that moment, I guess another set of fight will actually ignite. Mount Villa is there from the back foot. If we talk about Golf Course, DADAGANG is going to be there, the previous winners of that particular fight. So I believe once they have got the Booyah, I think this could be another beautiful match where they can come back even stronger. But let's see, guys, how far they will be able to go, what kind of advantage they will be able to have is going to be the biggest question that is running in my mind for now.
Well, of course, there could be a lot of Booyah to be maintained off, but talking about Team RHK, well, they are still 4 men standing with those 0 finishes point, almost landing on top 39 alive players. Mitul, Ucho, Blade, Rifat, well, they are still trying to be loot focused and having shotgun. I don't think this will work out a lot, and there you go, some teams are coming with those advanced loot. Team DRANIX, this time they are having 4 men strong. Until now, they haven't been eliminated yet. So yes, there's a scope of chance that they can again get a comeback in this particular match, because if you play one good match and after that the expectation becomes from the audience as well, there's high of expectation that he'll be delivering few more matches in a good note, but yet the team DRANIX haven't got any one of them. Talking about SN Evos, Bhagwan is barely surviving on those few HP. It could be really troubling for them, but talking about Bhagwan, he's been taken down. Old Monk, Pahadi, and SN Evos, well, they are the last 3 players standing, and right now some amazing shots just being taken down.
Well, when you want to actually have as many as points as possible, you have to go for those shots, and eventually those shots are looking quite well. They're having a lot of advantage, to be precise, from the corner.
Well, typically, as we can see around this region, well, Bhagwan has been taken down, and if I'm not wrong, the revival was done onto the other end. Monk, well, he's been eliminated. Let's see how they take on those positioning. But Asinivas, again, he has been taken down. And if one by one each player is taken down and the elimination has been proved out, I think this would be really very challenging for the team, because his own disadvantage could also play a prior role. And Pahadi, Bhagwan, both of them having a good shot. And there you go, Bhagwan again has been taken down. One by one, each players have been put off. And now Pahadi now being last player standing for the team. Let's see, will he able to survive? No, I don't think that will be possible. Team Orangutan, Team Uji Light, well, finally they will be getting eliminated from this particular lobby of fifth match of Purgatory.
Another beautiful team out of equation. That's a sad sight to see that OG Elite is actually getting diminished so early, because that is the team which was on top of the leaderboard for day number 4. But now I guess things will change. Team World of Battle can easily climb on that, or some of the teams like, let's say, even DADAGANG can actually climb a bit on that particular perspective, because what DADAGANG is having is 4 amazing tanks. TSG on the other corners have got the UASs, and they're also trying to rotate as far as it's possible. And Shino is going to be the other guy who they want to pick up. And rotations are something which never has to be underestimated, but the kills are not here for now. But very soon I believe the kills also will come in. But before that, we have got the vending machine in the close quarter. They are easily going to just bring back or just get as many as loot as possible. They can get as many as beautiful guns as possible if they have got the right shop tokens. That could be the approach. RRQ official on the other corner has actually surviving with the last man standing. Team World of Battle surviving with the 3-man standing. All the other teams which are surviving, like close to 8 teams to be precise, they have got the 4-man power, and that is actually going to be quite lovely to see. This kind of manpower will actually help them a lot in terms of their performance. Team Delete on the other corner, Team Mafias Delete on the other corner was able to get another beautiful frag out of the fights. The Mafias are looking exceptionally well in this particular matchup. In the previous fights, they were getting eliminated quite early, but DRANIX Susanna on the other corner also pops out one from the lobby, and that is actually going to be Team Mafias, guys.
Of course, this type of manpower will totally rule the game. But if we look at current situation, well, they are 4-man standing. They haven't got any finish point. Talking about Team Mafias, well, they have got 3 finishes point at those early phases, but in return, they have almost lost 1 player also. So yes, if a recall could be done, I think that would be a way positive start for the team. But if the recall is not done, 1-man disadvantage can harm the players for a longer period of time. But there you go. That was a creative flank to watch out. Delete. Well, this play is totally phenomenal. And a creative flank, a god him was not going for the second one. Will he able to take that 1v2? This is not that easy or not that possible, but yes, he is trying, he is struggling, and the potential, well, I think the leader has is totally phenomenal to watch out.
For now, everything is looking calm and composed from these particular teams. Team Mafia is actually performing quite well. Specifically, if I talk about this particular guy known as Delete, well, his performance is never going to go down. His aggression is never going to go down. And it's a very lovely way to start off the match, to be precise. He's easily going to salvage everything that is there from that particular perspective. He's going to loot everything that was there from the perspective. But Mafia Bala on the other corner gets countered. It's a beautiful and deadly knockout at the same time. If we talk about Vidit Gujar and Delete, well, Delete finally comes back to life. I guess he was a little bit more AFK on the back foot, but now he is back in the game. Seems like that training esports has been eliminated, but look at that. There are quite a few people who are jumping in the close quarters. We just saw a parachute getting jumped over there particularly, so I believe there is actually going to be an enemy in the close quarter. What Gujar is actually going to go and do is actually going to just go ahead and counter the fights and maybe actually go for the recall as well, because recalling his teammates is going to be the main meta. It's going to be very important, to be precise. Just bring back his teammates, otherwise things won't be that favorable. And look at that, he's actually going to bring back them with the vending machine. Well, the shop tokens are being used quite well, and with that, it's all said and done. Team Mafia is again going to be regrouped. The 4-man standing players are actually going to be back in the game. That's the lovely start of it.
Well, of course, the 4-man standing again, they're back in the game. And if you look at the zone, well, I believe the water regions will not play a prior role in this particular match, because this will not harm any team or any players. But looking at the current condition, well, I believe Team Mafias, they have got a good start, and finally they're trying to attain that start. They're trying to maintain that start and get a good maximization out of that. Having those I believe now they're back to 1. But looking at the current alive teams, so it's almost 7 to 8 teams are alive right now. Team it's GG, well, DADAGANG, they have got 4 finishes point. NIGMA Galaxy, they have got 3 finishes point. Team Mafias, they have got 5 finishes point. And TSG, well, TSG, TWOB, they're still struggling to get that, opening in this particular game.
Trying to impact, trying to get as many as points as possible. It's a little bit more on the decisive factor, because you can see that everybody is focusing on Team Mafia at this point, and the nades are coming on the clock, but the damage is also coming And blue walls, if we talk about those blue walls, it is actually the counter which is giving an upper hand to the enemy as well. If we talk about TSG, they are also trying to just cross over. Pagoda is the map, so you all know that when you want to cross over from one location to other, you have to either use bridges or you have to use those skating boards from which you can actually just ripple around and maybe cross over to the particular perspectives where you want to jump in. But for now, RRQ official also gets eliminated. Some more shots are being exchanged. The Steam World of Battle on the back foot. Woodpecker is a gun that they are trying to use, but remember guys, the team which is in front of them is going to be TSG. Some nades, some throwables. Oh, the rampage, a mini red zone is actually going to get created from the corner particularly, but eventually it won't help the particular team of World of Battle. But look at that, the shots are still coming up. It's a beautiful counter being delivered from the back foot. More and more shots are being delivered. This is absolutely amazing. Insane managed to back out a beautiful knockout. But is that knockout going to help a lot with the team is the biggest question. But from the back foot, another beautiful knockout. Look at that. The domination might actually come from the Mafia's corner. But World of Battle is exceptionally performing quite well. TSG is already eliminated. That's a sad sight to see. This team unable to perform from the past few days. It's a very risky start for them, to be honest.
Of course, it's gonna a very risky start to be chased on with, but I don't think this will be working out at any point of the time. This will be working out at any point of the game. But right now, DADAGANG, well, they were performing totally phenomenal, and finally they have been eliminated, which is not a good news. But TWOB, they have got 4 finishes point. Team Mafias, they are rolling on with those 7 finishes point. But there you go, it's NIGMA Galaxy Kapoom. That jump was really beautiful to watch out, and again some beautiful jump shots, and the knock is being converted into finishes point, and one more knock from Kapoor M69, and is totally on fire to be chased on. NIGMA Galaxy getting those back-to-back knocks and finishes point. I think will give a lot of confidence to the team continues.
Pretty much trying their level best to attain a lot more points. NIGMA Galaxy is trying their level best to be a little bit more chaotic on the back foot. You can see that the knockouts are still being delivered. Glue wall has been appointed, but now Mafias have been eliminated. We just saw that they are actually dominating, and now they are getting eliminated. That shows that the dynamics of the match can change anytime, so never feel comfortable that you are easily able to do everything that's possible in your favor. You are easily going to counter a lot of things, because the things might change rapidly, the things might change quite swiftly, and that's what is happening. So from the back foot, people have to push forward, the people have to attain a lot of points. HOTSHOT is actually there right now, trying their level best to survive. And remember, HOTSHOT is another beautiful team which was able to dish out a lot of damage in the previous matchup, if I'm not wrong. Although DADAGANG was able to get the beautiful booyah, but when it came to the highest amount of frags, it was the HOTSHOT which was still trying to be on top, which was still on top to be precise, not just trying, they were on top to be precise, but now they have to repass their west, and the boosters to be precise have to be ready, because look at that, the bandits were able to be used. Now the first aid kits are also going to get used. 13 players are surviving, out of which 4 are from Team HOTSHOT. This seems quite lovely, but NIGMA Galaxy and teams like World of Battle are in front of them. Even EA is in front of them. It seems a little bit more risky for the teams to just survive for now.
Well, obviously, this looks very difficult for the teams and very difficult for the players to move on with. But Team TWOB, NIGMA Galaxy, and HS, well, these are the last 3 teams standing out in NIGMA Galaxy. They have almost got those 9 finishes point. E Arena onto the other end. Well, they are also looking very strong enough. 11 the players are surviving out. It looks like a 4v3 scenario, and for a longer approach, for a longer period of time. The question is that how will they play off? 9 finishes point NIGMA Galaxy, 5 finishes point Team HOTSHOT, and TWOB 4 finishes point with those 3 man strong advantage. So yes, they are beneath down with those man disadvantage. This can give them a tougher task, but I don't think this will matter a lot.
Well, it will matter very soon, I believe, when the fight will come in. Then I guess these things are actually going to be quite chaotic. You have to be pretty much ready for those fights to be precise. The people are ready. They are trying to just pump up the performance. But I guess the connections are somewhere getting diminished. The fights are actually somewhere getting diminished. So still actually excited to see how far they will be able to res out. The form, if I talk about that guy, he's still surviving. He's actually on the back foot, but he's trying his level best to just go ahead and get as many as goals as possible. Shortly on the back corner is surviving. They are actually the 3-man power squad. Itachi is already knocked out, and his revival is just literally outside the equation, because they are outside the zone. The revival might not come in, and exactly that's what happened. The revival is not here. Once again trying to repair the band-aids. A lot of blue walls are being appointed, and you cannot receive from the front end. The enemy is also trying to do and have the same approach. They're also trying to go for as many as blue walls as possible. Shanti, well, you have to be ready for those shots. Yes, he is ready. He's trying to impact, but seems like that is not going to be there anytime soon. And yes, Team World of Battle is for sure going to go down. Well, the self-res is there, but it was not enough to help him out, to be precise. And with that, would love to add on, Team World of Battle is already out of the equation. They have been already eliminated. HOTSHOTs once again are coming in the close quarter, and the team they have to face off is going to be NIGMA Galaxy.
Of course, the team is NIGMA Galaxy, and they have to face this particular team. I don't think there's gonna be that much easy, but it's gonna be a tough fight for both of them. 3v4 scenario, if I'm not wrong, could be witnessed out. But yes, for a longer period of time, you should be very much ready. Some amazing glue walls have been created, some amazing temporary covers have been created, and yes, this could be broken on at any point of the game. But if you're having those man advantage, I think this will help you a lot. But there comes the phenomenal knock, and if I'm not wrong,
All said and done,
Nigma
seems like that the
Galaxy
fights are actually going to
getting
be a little
those
bit more
picks on the
favorable for
right side.
Enigma Galaxy because the guys coming from HOTSHOT's corner were getting countered quite a bit. And this kind of counter, this kind of fight back is actually going to be quite risky. Seems like that we have some minute glitches at this point, some ruckus is actually going to be there, but eventually let's see what happens. Alright, so finally guys, I guess we are back again. The glitches are being resolved and it's HOTSHOT who is going to back out the beautiful Puya. And with that HOTSHOT, fortunately I've got the Puya that we were waiting for quite a few long time to be precise, and this kind of performance will actually bump them quite a bit. The team coming from the Pakistan region is finally going to be a little bit more happy because they have got the frags, they have got the Puya, they've got the consistency as well. They were pretty much on the top 3 or top 4 position in the leaderboard, and now with this kind of performance they might be able to jump up more, even more against Team OG. It could be the possibility where they are actually going to reside on #1 or 2. So I'm actually quite excited for to see, in order to see what HOTSHOT is actually going to back out in the next few fights to be precise. But if I'm not wrong, today's last match is upon us, and that's Kalahari. Very soon this match will actually come in, and then we'll get to see an insight in this particular matchup as well.
Well, very soon the map of Kalahari will be in front of us, but before that, which will be the last match of particular day. But before that, I'll request each and everyone to guys please go to hit that like button, subscribe the channel, share the stream with your friends, with your mates, and do show your support. Talking about the most valuable player and the points table and the overall standings of after this particular match, we'll be waiting for that, and it will be coming very soon. But apart from those things, later I believe 5 matches are over, and after this particular day, and I think there are 2 more days remaining, day 5 and day 6 of this particular phase. So I think teams at those lower ground is having only 1 day. If they perform tomorrow, I totally agree. They can make a comeback at the last day and get a good place over the points table. But if they didn't perform tomorrow, I don't think it will be totally workable or doable in the last day, and it will be very much sure for the teams who are on those top 5 or top 10 team to qualify.
In order to have the swines, in order to have those amazing advantages, what these guys have to do is actually going to be a little bit more on the consistent corner. And I believe that consistency is coming for sure. They are able to actually have a lot more advantages, right? But now, like, coming back to the live chat, let's see what you guys have to offer for us. And yes, eventually OG is the team which is actually getting a lot of support. That is absolutely amazing. But eventually, yeah, OG is getting diminished for now. They are just unable to give that kind of comeback which is required. HOTSHOT is actually going to be quite lovely in terms of their performance, and Darley Bartles is here to support Team HOTSHOT. That's absolutely amazing. And DM Gaming is also here to support Team HOTSHOT. Yes, guys, it seems quite lovely whenever you support your favorite team. It seems like that. Yes, there is somebody who's watching from that particular team, somebody who wants to know what their favorite team is trying to perform and what their favorite team is about to do. But for now, guys, one more request from my corner is actually going to be that please make sure to actually like the stream. The like aim for today is actually going to be 500 likes, and we're pretty close to it. There's 88 more likes to go, and then eventually that like aim will be over. So go for it. And if I talk about the subscribers goal, it's of 70,000 subs. Can we hit it? I mean, it's possible. Every day we are getting close to 4K or 3K watching in the live streams. Like on Hindi stream, it is getting over 2K, 3K watching, and eventually in English as well, we're getting close to 200, 300 watching. Make sure to subscribe. Everybody who is coming on the stream, if you are actually going to subscribe to the channel, it will be absolutely amazing for us, because these are the minute goals that we are setting for ourselves. And let's go for the 70K subscribers. Let's go for the 500 likes in English stream. Let's go for maybe 2K, 3K likes on the Hindi stream as well. So why are we talking about Hindi stream? Because let me remind you guys, all of those people like from Bangladesh, from Nepal, from India, from Pakistan, whoever can understand Hindi, they can easily just go ahead and queue in that particular stream, learn a bit about the particular matchup, whatever is happening, because a lot of people are there watching the Hindi stream and eventually in English. We don't have that kind of watching, but then again, we are here to support, or should I say, give an insight to those guys which are unable to understand the Hindi language. Like if you are coming from Indonesia, Philippines, or Thailand, you can easily tune in this particular stream. And if you want, go ahead and follow the Loco as well on their Instagram, and actually follow the Loco page, Lidoma Asia to be precise, so that we can actually give you an insight on that particular platform as well. You are watching us on YouTube, that's well and good. You can subscribe here. If you're watching us on Loco, make sure to actually follow us on that platform as well, because on the platform I believe a lot more of an amazing things will be there. I believe some giveaways will be actually there from Loco's corner. Some watch tokens and some coins are actually delivered by that particular platform. But for now, if we talk about the next match, the final match for the day number 4 of the play-ins, it's Kalahari. The map is known as Kalahari to be precise. The flight was started from the council and the continent area, confinement area to be precise, and the flight path was able to end on the Mammoth and the sub-region. Meanwhile, if we talk about teams like the OG Elite, well, they are jumping towards Foundation.
Well, of course, they're jumping to the foundation, and this could be really very struggling to watch out. But similarly, if we talk about the fly path, well, that was typically decent to move on. A particular diagonal fly path could be witnessed out. But if you look at those drop clashes at early phases, Old Monk has been taken down, and instant revival would be an option. But onto the end, Pahadi is moving on. Old Monk revival becomes very much necessary. He is having a weapon for a backup scenario, but beneath those things, the safe zone will shrink in 1.5 minutes. The intensity of the lobby is 38 players are surviving. Let's see how will the teams be performing in the last match of day 4. Well, typically
those points, these guys have to actually be a little bit more comfortable, have to be a little bit more decisive about the fact that they are actually going to perform exceptionally well. For now, it seems like that OG's lineup is actually getting circumcised by a lot of fights. You can see that Asin Evos is on the back foot, he's getting pressurized. Old Monk on the other corner also gets countered. That's an amazing insight of this particular fight. He has been taken down. I guess E Arena could be in the close quarter because while looking at the dresses, it seems like that. And yes, that is down. That's absolutely lovely. The way these guys are trying to perform is exceptionally well. Knockouts are coming from Bhagwan's corner. He's actually going to be a little bit more on the chaotic corner. Arena could be getting finished off soon enough. And look at that. The shots are absolutely on point. Another beautiful knockout. It's Team OG, which is just trying to be unbearable at this point. Nobody is actually able to counter them for now. But let's see what happens in the last battle, because if I'm not wrong, there is one more member surviving from that corner. And look at that. The triple kill comes in. And it's EA, or should I say E Arena, already being eliminated out of the equation.
The arena at those early phases, this will be the first match of the last. This will be the last match of the day 4 and the first team to be get eliminated. And yes, this team has got a pretty good start. Total 3 finishes point into their favor. And the intensity of the lobby 1 minute before was almost 38, and now it's looking like 32. So yes, teams are very pretty aggressive enough right now, getting those lethal approaches at those right point, at those right side. But sometimes you get something, you lose something, and it doesn't look like that. We're looking at Bhagwan, Old Monk, Asin Evos, Pahadi, all of them are 4 men standing, and yes, it is a good start to take on. But one finish point, I don't think this will work for a longer period of time.
All said and done, OG Elite, exceptional level performance. A beautiful indeed damage done from the corner particularly, but with that kind of performance, now they have actually set a target on their back. It could be possible that on the next fight, Arena will once again come back in the particular arena and eventually take up a fight. But for that, we have to wait, because this is the final match for the day. And meanwhile, if we talk about Team Mafia's Elite, he is actually not having a single frag in his favor. That seems a little bit more like on the surprising side, because Mafia's Zillit is actually one of those players who loves to go aggressive, who loves to actually have as many S points as possible from his corner. But now all said and done, fights are over. Let's talk about the live location on the Stone Ridge. It's only Team OG that is going to be the team Orangutan to be precise. On the other corner, BTR Delta was unable to join. Team World of Battle already getting eliminated at the 10th position. That's a bad one to be precise. DG, if I talk about that team particularly, Shines is going to be the area where they're going to reside. NIGMA Galaxy goes in for the Foundation region. Confinement is actually going to be there for Team Mafias. And if we talk about RRQ KAZU, they were unable to join. E Arena gets eliminated at the 9th position. We are remaining with only 8 teams. But now if we talk about DRANIX, the sub is going to be the location along with Team RHQ Official. So it seems like that DRANIX and RHQ Official are about to have a tussle very soon.
Well, of course, pretty much sure that this could be really very challenging and struggling for the team. Total 31 players are standing out. Team Mafias, well, they haven't got a good start, but yes, in the today's day, they got a pretty good boya in the 3rd or 4th match. So yes, they have a pretty decent point, but if they maintain the same consistency or maintain the same aura, I'm sorry, maintain the same aura in the different matches as well. So it would be a really pleasure to watch out. But right now, Mafia is moving on with the same consistency. TSG Army, well, within a snap, they have also been eliminated. Total 27 players are standing out, and yes, it's gone to 28. So yes, a little fluctuation is being seen around. But Superman, well, the name is pretty decent to move on. And finally, 7 to 8 teams are surviving out. Team HS, HOTSHOT, NIGMA Galaxy, Mafia, DADAGANG, DRANIX, OG, and RHK. All of them are still standing, and only 4 finishes point is secured by NIGMA Galaxy, Team OG Lite, and RHK.
Seems reasonable enough, but for now, let's see what the other gang is going to do after the huge comeback that they were able to deliver in the 4th match for the day. In the 5th match, their performance was not that well, but now the 6th match, the final match for the day, is here right now. Seems like that the performance might actually change. RHK on the other corner is also getting surprised by Team DRANIX Esports. But if we talk about Team OG, well, their sufferance is actually rising. Team Mafia's Delete is actually going to be the guy with 43 amazing kills. But if you guys remember rightly, from Team NIGMA Galaxy, there is another beautiful guy who has got 45 kills already. That shows that on the MVP standing, there might not be a chance coming from this guy. But Old Monk manages to wipe out one, managed to finish off him as well. But Pahadi on the other corner also gets taken down. Awasini Wos is actually the last man standing. What he has to do is just go ahead very close to the vending machine and eventually just raise out his teammate. Otherwise, it can be a very deadly, should I say, loss for the team, to be precise. And look at that, he's actually coming back close to the recall tower. He can just easily go for the recall to be done. As in, if we talk about that guy, he also wants to fall back because he knows if he actually stays in the close quarter, it can actually turn out quite well. But no, he is actually going to take a fight. He manages to give it the damage. He managed to dish out a lot of damage. He's actually going to repatch himself with the bandage. But no, the damage is way too high. He's also going to go down, and it's all about Old Monk. If he can actually bring back his teammate, that would be lovely. But the pans are here. Is it going to be a banned situation? No, the nades come in. With that, the revival is coming up from the particular corner. It's Team Mafias who are able to dish out the damage on OG. India versus India is what is happening in this particular fight.
Because India versus India is happening, and right now 2 finishes point has been secured by Team Mafias. There are almost 25 or 28 players are standing around. Yes, a good start is given to few teams, and maximum teams have those man advantage with those 4-man strong advantage. So yes, this will give a lot of confidence and boost to the players and teammates as well. But right now, the current condition of Kalahar is not looking that good. This map is totally of desert, a slow-paced map, and yes, it could be difficult for the teams and players that how will they take on those things and what will be the upcoming results. But there comes the amazing Chomp of Mafia. He's still waiting on for those few more picks for the start of this particular match, and if they don't get a particular start to move on with, I think it would be really difficult for the players and teams as well. But right now, Team HOTSHOT, they haven't got any finish point. NIGMA Galaxy 4-man strong advantage, 4 finishes point. So I believe the number 4 is looking very good for Team NIGMA Galaxy.
All said and done, the performance is looking quite wild coming from Team Mafia's corner. They are trying their level best to exceptionally well perform and eventually get as many as points as possible. TSU meanwhile also gets eliminated. That's again a big loss for the lobby, to be precise. But Lidoma Asia is presenting this kind of tournament every now and while. Make sure to subscribe the channel. Make sure to actually subscribe the Loco page. Make sure to actually follow us on Instagram so that you can actually get every single update of every single stream which is bound to happen. 5 more days of this chaotic scenario is going to be there. So stay tuned for that as well. Meanwhile, if we talk about another set of aggression, it seems like that we might actually witness that very soon. We might actually get an insight very soon at how the fights will be getting delivered. But from the back foot, the vending machines, okay, I guess the drops are actually going to be the main objective of this team. OG Bhagwan is actually on the back end. He is not yet revived, but the shots are coming up. Pahadi might be taken down, and yes, it is. Pahadi has been once again taken down. His teammates are way too far away. I believe one is in the command post region, close to command post region to be precise, and another one is actually going to be on the back foot, Santa Catarina to be precise. And the one who is actually close to compound post, you can see that that guy is particularly knocked out. And the another one is actually about to drop in close to the area like refinery or some other region.
Of course, currently if you look at the zone formation, a typical central shift of a zone formation could be witnessed out, and I agree, all the teams are aggressively. They should, now be very alert and attentive enough to get those finishes point, because as this is the last match, this is the last chance of a few teams to, get a few finishes point and end the day in a good note and get that same momentum on tomorrow as well. But right now, if we look at the current alive status, almost 7 to 8 teams are standing. Looking at Team OG, they have got 8 finishes point, but yet only 1 player is standing out, so this could be really challenging. 21 players are standing out. 1 finishes point has been already secured by Team, if I'm not wrong, 8 finishes have been secured, but not the other end, Team Mafia as well, they have got 3 finishes point. Almost the 4 players are standing, and it's looking very much difficult for them. They should get inside the zone as fast as possible. And whenever you talk about this particular player, Delete, well, he's holding a great approach. He's having a lot of potential into his hand and into his weapon. Let's see how will he utilize that, because in the past days, in the past matches, he has utilized it very beautifully.
Potential is absolutely ample, to be honest, Eagle. But if we talk about specific teams like DADAGANG, they're getting bashed quite around. Like they are able to counter, but eventually when where the fights come in, like HOTSHOT, even if we talk about that team particularly, last match was the booyah for them. But eventually in this matchup, look at that, they have already been eliminated at the 7th position, if I'm not wrong. This seems quite unreasonable. It seems quite risky, to be honest. But this is how the situation will actually get over. Whenever you overcome it, whenever you try to just be a little more overconfident, there are teams which are going to put a full stop on you, and that's exactly what happened. For now, DADAGANG looking good and decent. They have got the grappling hook guns. They are trying their level best to have the highest advantage that is required. And on the other corner, if we're talking about NIGMA, they're also having a decent amount of advantages from their own corner.
Of course, they're having a decent amount of finishes point in their own corner, but right now looking at 20 alive players, I think this is going to be very challenging for each and every team. Looking at the alive, looking at the status, well, almost 6 players standing. There are 2 teams having those man disadvantage. Team Mafias with those 2 man disadvantage. Team OG with those 2 man advantage, and there comes some phenomenal shots have been maintained out. Some amazing smoke walls have been created out, and there comes the counter attack. DRANIX aimbot has finally been taken. Will this be a comeback for Team DRANIX, because they're not looking that good, but right now if they win this particular fight, I think they could go on top 5, and from there you could generate some more finishes point and place point as well.
Indeed, the aggression is working out quite well, but look at that. Oh, they are sitting ducks. They are easily going to get down, and exactly that's what happened. Team DRANIX Esports from the back end is also going to be quite chaotic. Another beautiful nade is going to go down. That nade will once again impact them quite a bit. Let's see what happens. Okay, I believe another nade is actually about to get pushed up. The Chargebuster is there. Knockouts are about to happen. And is it going to be another set of knockout? Let's look into that perspective as well. But look at that, what Bhagwan is doing. He's just pretty much prone. He's just pretty much trying to be sneaky because he knows his team is almost taken down. What he can do is just survive at this point. If we talk about Team Mafias, also the same strategy is being approached from their team particularly, because their survival is also getting impacted. But look at that, another beautiful shot goes in, and it was Delete who was trying his level best to go with the Woodpecker and attack as much as possible. He was trying his level best to be chaotic, but eventually his damage is not that ample. Meanwhile, he's connecting the shots, that's good enough, but he has to go a little bit more further in the zone, otherwise things will be a little bit more critical. But he's the one who is having the zone advantage, so why not just push forward? Those teams which are trying to be in the zone, they can easily gatekeep them.
I totally agree. They can totally gatekeep them, and 17 players are standing out. 3 finishers point has been also been secured by the teams and players as well. We are almost on top 6 teams, and RRQ, well, they are still coming with that solo player standing, so it's going to be really very challenging, really very crucial for the teams and players as well. Let's see how will they play off and what will be the results. Top 16 alive players in the movements are pretty much confident in Mafia Bala. The responsibility is totally onto his shoulder, because as he is being the solo player standing for the team, I think he's having a way bigger responsibility. But NIGMA Galaxy, Dio is jumping around, is getting those finishes point, and they both show overconfidence, and finally will get knocked. Storm and Dio both have been taken down. Figod and Kapoom M69, well, they're the last 2 players standing, and instant revival would be delivered out. 12 alive players, and RRQ KAZU, and I think they will be eliminated in this last match.
The last match is upon us, and only 4 teams are surviving for now, so that shows that the carnage, that the decimation is still getting pressurized at this point. DADAGANG meanwhile also gets eliminated. That is another beautiful elimination which is actually going to be here. So looking forward to see how far it is actually going to be there. DRANIX, NIGMA Galaxy, OG, Team Mafias, everybody is just trying to counter everyone else to be precise, which are present in the lobby. But then again, if we talk about the chaoses, they are going to rise. If we talk about the connections, that is actually going to be there. It's going to be an on-point, should I say, aggression that is actually required for now. But the job is done. The fight is pretty much over from that particular perspective. Only 10 people are surviving, and they are also trying their level best to just be in the zone. DRANIX Esports on the other corner gets 11 kills, and the domination is in the favor of Team DRANIX Esports. It could be possible where DRANIX Esports is going to wipe out every other guy from the lobby, and Team Mafias is also getting surprised. Look at that, Susanna on the backhand corner also gets taken down. That shows Team DRANIX Esports is also quite vulnerable, but the Mafias have been eliminated. It's all about NIGMA Galaxy and Team OG which can wipe them out.
Well, NIGMA Galaxy and Team OG, well, they're looking in front of each other, looking very strong. Both the teams are very confident enough with those maximum number of finishes point. They are almost having 10 and 9 finishes point, but it's still difficult, It's not that which team will get that. Booyah and Mal now being that solo player standing for Team DRANIX. the whole responsibility is on to this most valuable player as he's landing at the second position with 35 finishes point. I think now he need to turn on and get those finishes point at right time and right position.
Well, we are very close to seeing who is going to get the booyah. Seems like that it is for sure going to be Team DRANIX Esports, but eventually DRANIX Esports' last member, Mal, is here. It seems like that NIGMA Galaxy is about to get the booyah. And when the knockout comes in, and yes it is, DRANIX Esports is going to go down, and NIGMA Galaxy is going to get the beautiful booyah that was expected at this point, and I believe that booyah will help them. But before that, I believe the self-res was actually there. It was a 2v2 fight to be precise, but the knockout is here. But the revival is actually something which is going to be quite risky. Let's see what happens for now. Bhagwan is actually on the back foot. Oh, it's Bhagwan from Team OG who is surviving. That's amazing. This guy was very sneaky. Now he has to actually do a 1v2. It's actually a very tough to be precise competition, to be honest. But then again, that's what he has to actually travel with. That's what he has to actually go with. But now the damage is for sure there. He is avoiding as much as blue walls as possible. He's a little bit on the edge of the particular play zone, so that can be quite risky. But the damage is for sure coming up. The base pulse is in the hands, and the knockout comes in. He can easily go for the self raise, but no, it won't cut the deal. This Team NIGMA Galaxy who is going to get the match in their favor. A beautiful one indeed. A very should I say precise amount of fight was actually delivered, and with that we can clearly indicate that the fights are pretty much over, the battle is pretty much over, and the team which is actually going to get this beautiful booyah is going to be Team NIGMA Galaxy. After a lot of records, after the whole day of ups and downs for Team NIGMA Galaxy, finally they are able to dish out a beautiful amount of damage, and finally they are able to get the beautiful booyah that was required, to be precise. Indeed a beautiful match, indeed a beautiful day, indeed a beautiful fight.
This was a beautiful fight to game on with, but right now, as this was the last match of the day, Team NIGMA Galaxy finally proclaimed it very phenomenally and very challengeably. But this is not it, guys. This is just day 4, and there are 2 more days remaining from this particular series and from this particular phase. Particularly, if we talk about the other two. Other half and will be witnessing grand finals after the 2 days of this phase. And yes, I believe the opponents have still have a chance, and the enemies have still have a chance to those who are lying around those down the ground region. They still have opportunity to have a good comeback. But I don't think if they didn't perform tomorrow, it will be very challenging and very difficult for each of us.
All said and done, the fights are over. The comeback which we wanted to see are pretty much here right now. With that, the glorious fight, I believe competition is pretty much over. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see what will happen tomorrow, what will happen day after tomorrow, who are the top 9 teams which are going to get qualified for the grand final. But for now, after 4 amazing days of the whole Lidoma Asia Invitational season number 2, it's lovely to see quite a few teams coming back and forth, and still we can't actually get an insight that which is the most chaotic team, because for the first day it was Team DRANIX, for the second day it was NIGMA Galaxy, for the third day the situation changed and we saw teams like SESL Flying doing exceptionally well performance, and now today we saw like a lot of teams coming up and back. Be it DADAGANG, they were able to secure a booyah. HOTSHOT was able to secure a booyah and some consistent performance as well. OG was able to get a booyah and some consistent performance as well. And teams like TSG Army are getting back and forth, down and down and down. So this shows a lot of ups and downs are there, but eventually the result is pretty much clear that if you want to perform, you have to be consistent. If you want to actually be on top of this particular chart, you have to be consistent as well. But the consistency is still getting shattered for quite a few teams, be it HOTSHOT, for be it DRANIX, be it NIGMA Galaxy. But NIGMA Galaxy, at the end of the day, they are able to wrap up the competition in their favor.
Well, very soon we'll be also witnessing, the overall standings of this particular day and all the 6 matches and most valuable player who is in the ranking in the, who's getting a good rank over in the leaderboard. But apart from those things, similarly, if we talk about the holdings, similarly, if we talk about the position of a few teams and of few players, well, this is going to be really very struggling and really very challenging for the teams. Like how will they perform and what will be the results? But if we talk about Team NIGMA Galaxy, at the end game they performed really very beautifully, and that was a good game to move on with.
Indeed, it was an absolute amazing game, to be precise. But then, now all said and done, the fights are over. The performance is already pretty much over from their particular perspective. All we can wait for is a leaderboard which will showcase that how far the competition was evolved, what kind of comeback, what kind of, let's say, decent ups and downs were there in their particular strategies, in their particular fights, to be honest. And I love the way the competition is actually falling apart, the way this kind of, let's say, whole game sense, or should I say aggression, is working out for these guys. But at the end of the day, uh, you had to be consistent. Quite a few teams were consistent, quite a few teams were a little bit on the shaky corner, but the game is pretty much over for the day. 4 amazing days are over. PLAYINS, 4 amazing days are over. Let's talk about the schedule once again, guys. that was pretty much given to us. And eventually, let me remind you that how far this situation will be actually getting pushed over. So the event will be divided in two rounds. That's what the initial verdict was all about. And the first round will be plains, in which 18 teams from different regions of Asia will be competing in this round in the Indian servers. And apart from that, in the grand finals, 9 teams will be getting qualified from the plains. 2 teams will be invited as the underdog teams, and one will be the fan favorite teams of whose voting will be done on the Instagram, I believe. And these 12 teams will be competing in the grand finals again in the Indian server, to be precise. And we had 3 groups: Group A, B, and C. We had teams like Mafias, OG, Elite, Arena, BTR, Delta, Team World Battle, Dada Gang, NIGMA Galaxy, RRQ, KAZU, TSG, Army, HOTSHOT, RHQ Official, DRANIX, SESN, Flying, Delta X, Tetro, Onyx Esports, AV Radicals, Vibros, out of which I believe only Group C is left, who has got 2 days of back-to-back performances to show. And apart from that, if we talk about Group A and B, their 3 days have been passed. Their 18 matches are over. Only one more day, and that means 6 more matches for them. To be precise, and the favor is actually going to be there for Group B. I guess tomorrow's day is going to be the last one for tomorrow. For the Group C, for the Group B, to be precise, I believe the second last day will be the last one. To be honest, I believe the performance is something which was quite up and down, quite an up and down aspect of the particular fight. But now it's all said and done. The fights are over, for pretty much close to over, to be precise, for Group A and B. Group C still have got the chance to come back even harder, because if I talk about from Group C, teams like SES Alfang were quite good, Dedro was quite good, Onyx Esports was quite good, even Heavy Radicals were able to show their talent. I mean, every single team coming from Group C except Delta X was on point in terms of their performance. So that team, Delta X to be precise, have got 12 more matches. They have got half more journey, to be precise, to travel, and in that half journey maybe they will be able to come back even stronger, and they will be able to clutch their position in the top 9, because that's all you have to do. 18 teams are here. Half of them are actually going to get disqualified or eliminated, whatever you want to call them out. Only the half are actually going to push forward. So is it going to be possible for Group C to bring back their glory and bring back their 5 or 6 teams in the qualifications? We have to look into that fact as well.
Of course, we have to look on those things as well. And typically, as you said, tomorrow will be the last day for the teams at lower stages to come on with. If they don't, give a good performance, I think it will be really struggling for the team. Tomorrow is a do or die day for our teams at lower stages. But if we talk about the day 6, I think that will be a bonus day for the teams at those upper stages, because they will be performing very, with a lot of alertness, with a lot of carefulness. But talking about the teams at those lower stages in day 6, if they aren't able to go at those top stages, I totally agree that they could be very much lethal and challenge. They could give challenges and useful drop clashes to teams having those top regions. But apart from those things, the day 6 is totally been completed. Very soon we'll be seeing the points table and leaderboard of this particular day and most valuable player as well. But after the 2 days are over, we'll be moving towards the grand final, which will be consisting of 6 matches each day. And yes, we'll be also competing with one of the best teams of Asia again. But here comes the overall standing. NIGMA Galaxy will be leading with those 195 points, and DRANIX Esports, well, 189. It looks pretty much similar to the last day itself.
I mean, it's quite lovely to see the way the comebacks are coming up. OG Elite is barely holding to the 9th position with 88 points. I mean, SESL Fank have got 2 more days to perform, 12 more matches to perform, so they can easily just, let's say, push back teams like V Bros or RSK Official or even OG Elite back to the training area, or even E-Arena Esports along with the Hotshot Esports can be pushed back, because all these guys have only, I believe, close to 2 matches, close to one more day, 6 matches to be precise, left in their favor. And if we talk about teams like SESL Fang, Onyx Esports, Delta X, Dedro, and AV Radicals, these are the 5 teams which are at the second page, at the disqualification or the slightly dangerous page of this particular matchup. Well, these teams have to actually climb back even harder. If the climbing back situation is not going to be there, I believe they're going to get disqualified for sure.
Well, there's a high probability chances that they could get disqualified. But talking about TSG Army, RRQ KAZU, HOTSHOT Esports, E-Arena Esports, WR Bros, RHQ Official, well, they are on the top 9 list. And if we talk about 10 to 18, I think they can be struggling a lot. GW Esports, well, 23 points, AV Radicals 31, DADA Gang 37, Dedro Esports 42, the Mafias 46, Delta X Esports 53, Onyx Esports 54, and SES Alfank 74 into their hand. So yes, they were pretty good to watch out, but yet the landing on 10 to 18. So yes, this could be really difficult. Talking about most valuable player, it's TM Delete with those 46 elimination into his hand, and NIGMA Galaxy do well with those 44 into hand and stop. Well, is totally unstoppable, but yet landing in third position in most valuable player.
All said and done, Mafia Dillard is back in the table toppers list and the MVP as well. Dew and Stop are actually chasing him with 44 points and 39 points respectively from their own corner. So definitely they have to come back even stronger. Their coming back situation is actually going to be quite important. If they are able to come back even stronger, that would be quite lovely. But for this day particularly, the fights are over. The MVP standings is in front of us. And apart from that, the overall standing is also being shown. This shows us that the team which was on top was known as NIGMA Galaxy. And apart from that, DRANIX Esports is also very close to them. But if I talk about hashtag 5 to hashtag 9, I guess that situation is pretty much vulnerable because some of the teams like HOTSHOT Esports or some other teams could be coming back for that arena, or the Group C could be coming back for that area. And it can be an easy asset for Group C to just climb back in their particular leaderboard because AV Radicals are another exceptionally well performing team to be besides is there. SESL Fank is here. But with that, Eagle, I believe we are going to wrap up this day, particularly if they have any words to say. Go for it.
I'll just request my audience, guys, you need to join tomorrow because tomorrow is a very important day for teams landing around 10 to 18. So stay tuned, do hit that subscribe button, do hit that bell icon. So whenever we come live, you'll get a very strong notification. Till then, stay safe, take care, and keep supporting Lidoma India.
Disco. said.